Thank you to the fans. I think ultimately that was the single biggest reason that I decided to stay here.
Where's all the warm spring weather? Well, it doesn't matter because we welcome you inside Miller Park on a rainy Friday night in April when the Brewers are ready to take on the Houston Astros. And all eyes on number 8 as Ryan Braun signs a 5-year extension that will keep him in a Brewer uniform through the 2020 season. A historic signing by the franchise on Thursday. Hi, everybody. I'm Craig Kashan. Welcome to our coverage of Brewers baseball here on Fox Sports Wisconsin against the Houston Astros. All eyes on Ryan Braun this weekend, no doubt. On the field, though, forget about the contracts and the money. He's got an 18-game streak going where he's reached base safely in the first 18 on the season. Gallardo out on the hill for the Brewers tonight against Houston in his career. A fine 7-2 record and a 3.05 ERA. Let's talk more about the Milwaukee starters. How about this? Over the last 15 games, they're 7-2 with a 2.50 ERA. In fact, overall, the Brewer pitching staff second in the National League with an ERA of just over 3. So everything falling into place, and now a 6-game homestand to try to gain some ground in the National League Central. Still ahead, a star is Braun. That's it. BA and Rock looking at potential Hall of Famer currently in a Milwaukee Brewer uniform. Game 1, Astros Brewers on the way on Fox Sports Wisconsin.
Fox Sports Wisconsin is presented by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. By Triple Hops Brewed Miller Lite. Taste greatness. By AT&T. And brought to you by Toyota, proud sponsor of the Milwaukee Brewers and the Toyota territory at Miller Park. big day in the team store as the Brewers return to Milwaukee, and a big day yesterday for Ryan Braun. It's back to business as usual today as Braun and the Brewers getting ready for the Houston Astros, and they'll send up their ace. Yovani Gallardo is on the mound tonight, trying to make a bounce back after 2 starts where he was not Yovani-like. And hi, everybody. We welcome you back from Miller Park. Brian Anderson, Bill Schroeder. Thank goodness for the roof. That's the only reason we're playing baseball tonight, Rock. And it certainly was a big day yesterday inside Miller Park with Ryan Braun announcing a major contract extension. And if you look at the pure baseball numbers, that was an easy one for Doug Melvin and the gang to get that done.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, so far in his career, not only is Ryan Braun one of the best players right now, but he's off to a start that rivals just about everybody in baseball history. And when a guy like that comes to you and says, I want to be here for 10 years, Doug Melvin's only response got to be, how quick can we sign this guy? So it's great to have Ryan in the fold. You got to be careful the guys you give long-term deals to, but Ryan Braun's certainly one of them. He's a self-motivator. He puts out every day. He's always in the lineup. He's a guy that you can give a big, long contract to and expect greatness, and he's done that so far.
Historic numbers. Only Albert Pujols better than Braun since May 25th in most of these categories, all with the exception of hits, and only Ichiro Suzuki with more hits than Ryan Braun since his debut in May of 2007. The stats do not lie. Braun and the Brewers ready to go. Can Gallardo get back on track? The Brewers and the Astros. It's coming up next from Miller Park. Stay with us. And here come the Milwaukee Brewers back at home, starting a 6-game homestand tonight. 3 against the Astros, 3 more against the Cincinnati Reds, as the crew trying to get moving here in this 2011 season. They are 9-9, which is a pretty good mark after an 0-4 start. Ron Renicky saying he's pleased with the way the Brewers have played on the road this year outside that first series, and coming off a series where they've taken 2 out of 3 from the Phillies. There is Brad Mills, the skipper of the Houston Astros, and you see where the Astros are this year, 7-12. They are 3 games back in the division, off to a slow start in the National League Central. And Brad Mills, Piggly Wiggly starting lineup. Michael Bourne at the top. Angel Sanchez batting second with Hunter Pence in the 3-hole. The middle of the order is Lee, Wallace, and Johnson. Former Brewer Bill Hall is in there. He's the everyday second baseman in Houston. Humberto Quintero and Figueroa rounded out. And it's Giovanni Gallardo making his 5th start of the season. Gallardo has posted good numbers against Houston over his career, and I know the Brewers are anxious to get Giovanni back on track.
Yeah, his last couple of starts have been a little bit shaky. He's had some shades of brilliance, but he's been victimized by the big inning as of late. He's 7-2 though in 9 starts against the Astros.
That's Paul Schreiber barking out the balls and strikes. Mike McClinsky, Joe West, and Angel Hernandez on the bases. The crew chief is Joe West. Michael Bourne leading off for Houston. Number of key losses last year for the Astros. You have to say they're in a rebuilding mode right now. Possible ownership change for the Astros. Betancourt makes a play. Bourne retired, 1 away, and that's how we get our evening started on a Friday night. Joining Betancourt defensively, it's Braun, Gomez, and Kotze in the outfield. McGee and Betancourt on the left side with Weeks and Fielder on the right. And Lucroy does the catching tonight. Our Blaine Spawner Fleet Brewers defense. A season's worth of highlight reel put together by Carlos Gomez on the last road trip. Defensively in center field. What a clinic he put on in Philadelphia.
Yeah, caught just about everything that stayed in the ballpark out in center field. The Brewers have been playing very well defensively. They lead the National League in team fielding percentage. They've committed only 7 errors. That's fewest in the National League.
Tied for the fewest in the major leagues with the Red Sox. Gallardo pumping in a lot of strikes early. Ron Renicky and Rick Kranitz, manager and pitching coach, with their opening day starter on the mound tonight. Not a lot of household names with this Houston club any longer. The Brewers were in Houston when they made 2 blockbuster trades, trading away Roy Oswalt and Lance Berkman just before the trade deadline. 0-2 pitch, and it's just outside. A ball and 2 strikes. Gallardo is 7-2 career against the Houston Astros. He had 9 starts.
Yep, a 3.05 earned run average. The Brewers, as a matter of fact, have pretty well dominated the Astros here at Miller Park for a while now. And Giovanni's been a big part of that.
Now the Brewers have certainly enjoyed having the Astros in Milwaukee, while they've struggled in Houston. Went 1-5 in Houston last year. 6-3 against the Astros at Miller Park a season ago.
Yeah, the Brewers have beaten the Astros 24 of the last 28 games here at Miller Park.
How about that? And some of Gallardo's best games of his career have been against Houston, whether it be here in Milwaukee or down in Houston. I recall his first complete game was against the Astros in front of a bunch of friends and family. Now this Astros club, they're in a transition. They have some guys that you have to work around. It's specifically Hunter Pence and Carlos Lee. Brett Wallace looks like a good young player, their first baseman. Did he go? Yes, he did. Gallardo strikes out Angel Sanchez. Out number 2.
Well, the curveball was a pitch that he had a tough time with his last time out against Washington. Looked like a pretty good one that time.
Well, our scouting report tonight comes from pitching coach Rick Kranitz on Giovanni.
you have to command the ball down the strike zone, and you know, he's got some pitches up, and I think he needs to get back to what makes him who he is, and that's being able to pound that zone down, especially with his fastball. So we'll see tonight. Hopefully he'll get to his fastball and be down the strike zone like he always is.
And he had a pretty good fastball to start that game against the Nationals, but gave up a home run on a 3-2 pitch and seemed to go away from it quite a bit. His velocity was very good his last time out, about 93.
Gallardo giving up 2 3-run home runs against Washington in his last start. 7 earned runs total for Giovanni. Matching up with Hunter Pence, who is the premier bat in this batting order now for Houston. A .280 hitter coming in with a couple of homers and 13 runs batted in. Leads the Astros in RBIs. Gallardo and Pence linked together back to their amateur days in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Gallardo was a high school player, and Pence played his college ball at UT Arlington. And down goes Pence. Great start tonight for Gallardo. 3 up, 3 down with 2 strikeouts. And the Brewers are coming up. A 3 up, 3 down inning with a couple of strikeouts. And the Brewers skipper is excited to be back in Miller Park. Brewers have not been here much. Here is the Piggly Wiggly starting lineup for Renicky tonight. Weeks, Gomez, and Braun will lead off. Then it's Fielder, McGee, and Katse. Bottom of the order, Betancourt, Lucroy, and Gallardo. And that lineup will face Nelson Figueroa of the Houston Astros, a former Brewer.
Yeah, he's off to a rough start. His first 2 starts this year were not very good. Last time out, much better. Now against the Brewers in his career, a 3-2 record, ERA at 4.19, 12 games, and that's 4 starts for the soft throwing Nelson Figueroa.
Ricky Weeks to lead him off. 273 batting average to start play today. Has 4 home runs and 7 driven in. He's among the club leaders in home runs. Braun has the team high right now with 5. Enjoyed good power numbers, run producing numbers against Houston in his career. And the new $100 million man will hit in this first inning. Quite a contract. If you have been with us, talked extensively about it on Brewers Live. Ryan kind enough to join us for a sit down today on our Brewers Live pregame show. And I would expect that at this point, after all of the day's events yesterday, and Mark Atanasio is here, the owner, Braun's anxious to get back to some normalcy now.
Yeah.
Took care of all of the media attention and the media responsibilities during the off day. So Good job by all.
Yeah, that doesn't seem to ever bother Ryan. Media attention and being the focus of a lot of attention. So it's another day at the office for Brownie. Another $100 million in his pocket. It's always nice in this day and age to know you got that coming. But it speaks a lot of the Brewers organization, the fans, the city of Milwaukee. And Ryan approached the Brewers on getting that extension done. And how fast can we get it done? I would imagine the Brewers would say. One of the best starts to a player's career of all time.
Bouncing ball to short. Sanchez makes a play and Weeks is retired. All right, defensively for the Astros tonight behind Figueroa, it's Carlos Lee, Michael Bourne, and Hunter Pence. Around the horn, Chris Johnson, Angel Sanchez, Bill Hall, and Brett Wallace. Humberto Quintero does the catching. Figueroa on the mound looking for his first win of the season. And the Brewers trying to stay hot here at home. They've had good success in their home ballpark. Milwaukee 5-2 this year at home this season. And after that 0-4 start to the beginning of the year, that was a much needed 5-2 homestand to begin the first leg of the home schedule.
It would have been a very good start to the season after that 4-0 start had it not been for that sweep at the hands of the Nationals. Played well in Pittsburgh, played very well in Philadelphia. But for whatever reason, just could not get it going against Washington.
Excellent bounce back against the Phillies. I think that's what impressed the manager more than anything else, the resiliency of the club to come back after a tough series in our nation's capital and to really match up against one of the premier clubs in the National League. The Brewers feel like they can tow it up with anybody, and that was a good test on the road early.
Yeah, the Brewers starters outpitched the Philly starters, who are supposed to be, as a group, one of the best pitching staffs put together in a long, long time.
Zach Greinke back with the big league club until his start in Nashville on Sunday. I think you talk to the team, you talk to Ron Renneke and Rick Kranitz, and they feel like they're just keeping things in order until they get the reinforcements back. This is not the team the Brewers had envisioned to start the year, but you have to say that those who have replaced the injured Greinke and Hart have done a nice job as Gomez goes into right field. Well, that's a good sight there to see Gomez use the opposite field. Maybe a harbinger of things to come. So a man on for the $100 million man, Ryan Braun.
To be a Milwaukee Brewer, I really am, and I'm proud to say that I'm going to continue to be a Milwaukee Brewer for at least the next 10 years.
Batting third, left fielder number 8, Ryan Braun.
Lot of love here, Rock. Now he's got to
good stuff.
Bear down to hit. And he played the soundbite of Braun's press conference yesterday, talking about staying a Brewer for life, and a great ovation, a standing ovation from this Friday night crowd. Gomez always a threat to run.
Yeah, Quintero pretty good behind home plate. He's got a good arm, but Nelson Figueroa, with as many off-speed pitches as he throws, he'll throw just about anything up there. Slow, slower, and slowest. You pick one of those lazy curveballs and you can steal it easily. But Quintero's got a pretty good throwing arm.
And a long look from Figueroa. Figueroa has actually had good success against number 8. Braun just 1 for 9 in his career against Figueroa. There was one start in particular when Figueroa was a Met that he tied up the Brewers, frustrated them all night there in New York. Braun and Fielder have been off to such a hot start at the plate. It hasn't seemed to matter who's pitching, whether it's Roy Halladay or Cliff Lee or Nelson Figueroa or anybody else.
Righties, lefties, doesn't matter. They're both seeing the ball very well. One thing you got to do against Figueroa, think up the middle, opposite field.
There goes Gomez. Braun into right. Gomez never saw it, and this is going to be an easy double play as Hunter Pence throws to first and the side retired.
Roster moves made on the off day, starting with Niger Morgan, who landed on the disabled list after that bruised thigh could not get right. As you can see, the collision in Pittsburgh, he took a knee to the thigh, and he's just been nursing it ever since. He thought it would be better by now, but it hasn't gotten any better, and that prompted the move to bring up Brandon Boggs from the minors. He is here now, and that gives Ron Renicky some flexibility in the outfield. And when Mark Kotsay came to the Brewers, he was not expected to play every day, but due to injuries, that has pretty much been the case, and Renicky is pretty happy to have some of that flexibility with a true outfielder in Brandon Boggs. B.A.?
All right, Telly, thanks. And Boggs is a switch hitter, so he gives the manager not only flexibility defensively, but at the plate as well.
Well, and you need that flexibility, particularly when you only have 4 players on your bench. Brewers currently carrying 8 relief pitchers. You got Craig Counsell, a left-handed batter, Almonte Nieves, both right-handers, and Boggs, the switch hitter.
Well, Morgan was trying to avoid a trip to the disabled list, but he certainly understands the position of the manager and matchup scenarios late in games. Ron Renicky, on a couple of occasions in the Philadelphia series, really had nobody to call on, as Lee sends one to right, slices right to Kotsay for the first out of the second inning. It was a team off day, but it was a very busy off day on the transaction wire for the Brewers. LaTroy Hawkins activated today. Good to see LaTroy back in a Brewers uniform, and Telly mentioned the Morgan-Boggs exchange. Mike McClendon sent back down to AAA. And George Kataris also assigned to AAA Nashville. That will open up the roster spot for Sean Markham, who is on the bereavement list, and he'll pitch tomorrow. We only have room for 5 headshots on that graphic.
A lot going on, plus extend Ryan Braun's deal. So, yeah, it was a busy day in the Brewer front office. Had to be somewhat of a tough decision for the Brewers to send down George Kataris, because, you know, talking to Ron Renicky, he was very impressed with his defense. He was throwing the ball well, swinging the bat. But you really can't have the luxury of 3 catchers forever. You just can't do that throughout the season. And it came down to, paper pushing considerations. If the Brewers sent Nieves down, he could have been a free agent. They would have lost him.
Now, that was part of his contract in signing with Milwaukee. So the Brewers like them both. Renicky and Jerry Naran, who handles the catchers, the Brewers bench coach, likes both Kataris and Nieves, and you want to keep as much depth as you can. So it became a numbers game for Kataris, but you will probably see him back in the big leagues at some point.
Right.
And I think Renicky used the same discussion with Kataris that he did with Brandon Boggs in spring training. The manager said that was one of the toughest calls he had to make, sending Boggs down to start the season. But he told him, be patient, and the first opportunity will get you right back. And he's a man of his word, and Boggs is pleased about it.
It's a tough conversation to have, but it's a good problem to have for an organization, to have, guys that you're comfortable with on your roster. You just can't have them all. Somebody's got to be sent down.
Wallace chases one, and Gallardo has his 3rd strikeout.
Well, Gallardo already with 3 strikeouts. This time Wallace chasing a high fastball. Good to see Yo establishing that fastball. He's got a good one tonight. Left-hander having a tough time getting to it. Hey, sign up for Brewers checking at Associated Bank and receive a Ryan Braun signed baseball. It's a limited time offer for new customers. Minimum deposit of $100. Some restrictions apply. Visit associatedwithsports.com for information.
There you see Chris Johnson with 2 outs in the second. Pretty much anything associated with Ryan Braun today has been a hot ticket item down in the fan zone and the team store. See a lot of Braun jerseys walking around today. Gallardo ties him up.
Well, trying to come inside this time, and that's where you want it. If you miss trying to come inside, you miss off the plate.
Chris Johnson had a great season last year, getting his feet wet in the big leagues. Gallardo makes quick work of him here in the second. 4 strikeouts for Giovanni Gallardo, off to a great start. The big man will bat when we come back. Fielder leads off when we go to the bottom of the second. Here, just pouring down rain in Milwaukee, and there's your hero, the roof. It's a beautiful thing, especially on a day like this, a raw Milwaukee April afternoon and evening.
You know, your interview with Ryan for the pregame show today, he mentioned the roof is one of the reasons why he loves it here so much.
First thing out of his mouth.
Right. I don't blame him.
I feel the same way. Great place to hit. And the offensive numbers to show for it. Braun and Fielder, you look at their career numbers at this point, comparable to some of the greatest in the history of the game offensively.
Yeah, no doubt about the best 1-2 offensive punch in all of baseball when you talk about a 3-4 hitter. Combination of batting average and run production, home runs. Big question mark, are the Brewers and Prince Fielder going to be able to get together on a deal? Looks like Prince leaning toward free agency.
Astros is one of the few teams that keeps it straight away against Fielder as he draws the walk. And you can understand why Figueroa would be hesitant with Fielder. His numbers off the charts right now. Prince, the league leader in RBIs, 19 runs batted in. And this is all in the last 13 games. Remember how sluggish his start was to the season. But since the Brewers returned home, a .431 average, a National League Player of the Week award, 3 homers, 19 ribbies.
Hitting almost .360 against right-handed pitching, and check this one out against lefties so far this year. .476. I'd say he's dialed in.
Funny moment there with Prince Fielder. He was yelling out at Bill Hall. Said, "I'm coming in hard on a double play ball, Billy. I'm coming in hard on you. I'm going to take you out."
Good to see Billy in the big leagues, back in the National League.
After a year with the Red Sox last year, the Mariners prior to that. The Fielder right here. He says, "Billy, coming after you." Watch that slide. That's great. Good stuff. Teammates, former teammates with Milwaukee, and Hall is still very, very much revered in the Brewers clubhouse. He had his moments as a Brewer, some great moments.
Yeah.
Had his struggles as well, but no question about his presence in the clubhouse, especially with guys like Weeks and Fielder. Well, Casey McGee, a couple of home runs, 10 ribbies this season.
Casey really hit some balls hard in Philly. I mean, line drives right at fielders, though. Didn't have much to show for it.
Well, he was in good spirits before the game today, helping out Telly, helping our crew out. Telly says, "I don't touch tripods. No way."
You want to get this out of our dugout?
So he handed it to me for. Telly normally has people for that.
Right.
McGee draws the walk. So back-to-back walks. Figueroa relies on his command to be successful. And back-to-back walks to start the inning, and that sends the Astros pitching coach, Brad Arnsberg, out for a quick trip.
Well, it looked pretty good in the first inning. And Brewers hit some balls hard, but being very careful to Prince Fielder and Casey McGee. 5 walks, 10 strikeouts coming in for Figueroa. 16 innings, but he's allowed 25 hits before tonight's start. We talked about it. He had given up 11 of his 13 earned runs this year in his first 2 starts. He was much better his last outing.
Now his matchups with Milwaukee date all the way back to 2001. And now Arnsberg is barking at Paul Schreiber. So Arnsberg waited for the home plate umpire to come to the mound. And obviously he had some thoughts he wanted to express.
Maybe he was not pleased with the strike zone. There was a couple of pitches in the first inning that Figueroa was kind of peering in, and wondering why they're not called strikes. Maybe that was the conversation. You don't mess with Joe West.
So Brad Mills is talking it over with West. Now, somebody got tossed. They might have both been tossed, but certainly Arnsberg was ejected. Arnsberg, as they separate from the mound, Barkin and Paul Schreiber, and that was it. There he goes.
Yeah, he's gone. Paul Schreiber let him say his piece. Let him stay out there, and whatever it was he was talking about, complaining about, he gave him some leash. But finally had enough. Not sure how this helps your starting pitcher, this much of a delay.
So Brad Mills came out, and then Joe West threw him out.
Well, he told him to leave the field, I would imagine, but he just kept going.
So the Astros have lost their manager and their pitching coach here in the second inning, as the crew chief Joe West eliminates the manager. Well, 2 walks to start it. Figueroa in trouble here early. It'll be Mark Kotsay now. Now Pedrique will assume the duties, I assume, for the Astros. It'll be a team effort, though. Losing a manager's one thing. Pitching coach, that changes things a little bit for the pitcher-catcher relationship as they come out between innings. And
no, it won't come to an end, that's for sure. I mean, the manager and the pitching coach are going to be in the clubhouse, and that visiting clubhouse is probably, what, 50 feet from the dugout up the ramp. So they'll go back there. They're not allowed to show their face on the bench or on the field, but they can certainly weigh in from the clubhouse.
so you're saying if we switched our broadcast to the Mets and the Diamondbacks, they'd be in a little bit of trouble down there. It's Kotsay. Flares one in the left. All kind of thunder in his bat, Rock.
Man.
Bases are loaded as he made contact. At the same time, a giant roll of thunder came through here.
Yeah, how about that?
I don't know if you were able to pick it up at home, but take a listen and listen to this noise right before contact.
Good concentration by Kotsay. Scared me. Well, you talk about all the matchups with Figueroa and the Brewers. Mark Kotsay now 5 for 7 against Nelson Figueroa in his career.
Bases loaded. Big opportunity early here for Milwaukee. Yuniesky Betancourt. Well, that thunderhead shook the building. Betancourt still looking for his first Brewers home run as Figueroa stays away from him, and he is even in the count. A ball and a strike. Couple of breaking balls to Yuniesky Betancourt. 2 walks and a single to start the inning. A manager and a pitching coach ejected for the Astros.
And Betancourt let one get away that time. That was a slider, 82 miles an hour right down the middle. A mistake by Figueroa, and Betancourt just fouled it back. Those are the pitches that you have to take advantage of.
Had a good cut. Count stays at a ball and 2 strikes.
Now, how many pitchers go to the hitting coach and get a scouting report on the guy they're going to be facing? That was Giovanni with Dale Swain.
It gives you an idea of the 2-dimensional
multitasker
element to this Brewer pitching staff. The starters take a lot of pride in their hitting. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Betancourt lays off. 2-2. The count evens up. Now, the way Gallardo looks early, you'd love to put a couple of runs on the board and give him a chance to cruise along here tonight. The 2-2 hangs in there.
I'll tell you, the outfield very shallow for Houston, particularly Lee in left and Bourne in center. Betancourt's got some pop in that bat. There's another one of those sliders that stayed up in the zone, right down the middle. Look how high Quintero is sitting on a slider. That's unusual. Usually you want that slider down and away. He wanted that one up.
Quintero has had some concussion problems in the past. See that oversized mask he wears. Well, every time I look at Humberto Quintero, I remember the collision he had with Mike Cameron in Houston a couple of years back. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Betancourt. Got him. Betancourt strikes out. Big strikeout for Figueroa. And how about Jonathan Lucroy? A home run against Cliff Lee. Powerball home run number 1 of the season. Lucroy swinging a red hot bat, getting his 2011 season started.
And took a Cliff Lee cutter and put it in the seats out there and left. He's been using the whole field, doing a pretty good job after missing all of spring training.
And missed the first couple of weeks of the season. A broken pinky finger on his right hand. 8 for 22 is Lucroy at the plate with that home run and 2 RBIs, and all of that on the last road trip. Made his season debut in Pittsburgh.
You see Figueroa likes to work that fastball up in the strike zone. Throws at about 87. That's what he tops out at. And with all the other off-speed pitches that he throws, it appears a lot quicker to the hitter. Got to lay off that fastball. Very rarely does he throw it for a strike.
Breaking ball missed inside. Must be a trend this year, partner. I've seen more inside curveballs and sliders than I can remember.
Yeah, that one's not by design. You can see Quintero sitting outside, but Figueroa missed by the entire width of the plate.
The 2-1 on the ground. Chance for 2 here. Sanchez to second for 1. The turn not in time. Lucroy beat it out, and the Brewers get a run. Fielder scores on a fielder's choice from Lucroy.
No, he was running as best he could and able to beat it. It was a high chopper. Sanchez had to go a bit in the hole. And you knew right away, as soon as it was hit, it was going to be close. A good turn by Billy Hall. But Prince Fielder able to score the game's first run.
Prince Fielder save at home, safe and secure. New York Life. And the first run of the ball game. Lucroy gets credit for the RBI, his 3rd of the season. And it's 1st and 3rd for Gallardo. Well, if Figueroa gets out of the 2nd inning with only 1 run allowed, that'll be a big victory for him.
Yeah, bases loaded, nobody out. You bet.
The key out, a strikeout to Yuniesky Betancourt.
Slider that time at 75 miles an hour. It's amazing he can break at that speed.
A lot of gravity taking over. Gallardo's a good hitter. He's 2 for 8 this year. As an RBI, runner goes, and Gallardo swings and misses. Down he goes on strikes, and the Astros wiggle out of a mess. Just 1 run in. We head to the 3rd. Sports Wisconsin is presented by Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. By Ho-Chunk Gaming Wisconsin, your ticket to more. And by Subway. Try our $5 featured footlong of the month. Subway, where winners eat. Back inside Miller Park, Milwaukee on a Friday night, a rainy Friday night. Yovani Gallardo off to a good start. He's retired the first 6, has 4 strikeouts, and he's had a lot of success, partner, against the Astros over his career.
Well, we talked about the success that the Brewers have had against the Astros here at Miller Park, winners of 24 of 28. And Yovani Gallardo certainly a big part of that. That complete game was in Houston. I think it was the first game that he actually started against the Astros. He had family and friends out there in the outfield.
You see his numbers against the Astros. Other than the Pirates, the best against a division opponent. He's dominated Pittsburgh, and that, of course, is a great effort that he posted this year. Had that 1-0 win last year against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Gallardo hit the home run. That was the difference in the game. So the native Texan has had some success against the team from Texas. Here's Bill Hall. Got a nice round of applause from Brewers fans. Hall, the everyday second baseman in Houston. Off to a slow start at the plate. Just 1 homer, 6 RBIs. Has 12 hits in 61 at-bats.
Astros have done a pretty good job scoring runs, but they haven't been using the home run ball much. 9 home runs is the fewest in the National League. And that's kind of an amazing thing when you consider where they play. I mean, short porch in left and right at Minute Maid Park. You've got some guys that can hit home runs. They have been doing a pretty good job with runners in scoring position. The Astros actually have scored more runs this year so far than the Brewers. But they're only 7-12.
Astros coming off a series in New York. As Gallardo wanted the pitch. Houston took 2 out of 3 from the Mets in New York.
Maybe a bit low. It had the plate.
Three balls and a strike. And Hall sends one deep center field. Gomez back at the wall, and that ball is off the top of the wall. Billy Hall stood there and watched it for a moment. Now he's on his way to third, and he's going to make it for a triple. He thought he hit it out.
I thought he did too. That ball was smoked. Billy Hall, a very good low ball hitter. Always had a tough time laying off the high fastball, but pitches down in the zone. Nice short stroke, and right there he's watching it out of the batter's box. He's just kind of trickling out of the box and realizes it's going to stay in play. And very fortunate that he didn't run hard right from the get-go. That might have been 4 bases with Billy's speed. Off the top of the wall. And a good job of backing up by Kotze.
Almost Gomez, a great effort. But a triple to start the 3rd inning. First hit for Houston. And it's Humberto Quintero now, and he is hit by a pitch. Gallardo clipped him. Got him on the right forearm. That can't feel good.
No, looked like a two-seamer that kept boring in on Quintero, and he started to offer at it, then thought better of it, and it hit him. That will numb the entire arm right there, right around that funny bone.
Been a rough inning. Remember, Betancourt fouled one right off the mask of Quintero. And then he takes that one on the arm. The Brewers have inflicted a lot of pain on Humberto Quintero over the last couple of seasons, and we'll see if he is going to be able to continue in this game. You think about a catcher and the fact that he has to make constant throws. His throwing is a big part of the game.
Well, you know, I think right now it feels as good now as it's going to all night. It's going to start stiffening up. And the only reason I chuckle is because as a former catcher, I know what it feels like. So you get hit around that elbow, that throwing elbow, regardless of what elbow it is, everything goes numb. And slowly but surely you start getting the feeling back. It looks like he's going to be all right for now.
So Quintero will stay. He'll head to first. First and third, nobody out to start the third inning. Hey, a reminder here, click on the Fan Zone tab on the FoxSportsWisconsin.com homepage and win prizes in the new Fox Sports Wisconsin Fan Zone. You get team merchandise, there's game tickets, unique fan experiences, tech toys, and more. And if you're not a member, join now. Fast and free, and it's all at the Fan Zone tab, FoxSportsWisconsin.com. The pitcher Figueroa at the plate. Actually has a couple of hits already this season. He's 2 for 6. Well, he's up there to bunt. Gallardo back inside. It's amazing how fast it can change. The Brewers are sitting there with the bases loaded, nobody out. Milwaukee gets just one. And Houston comes right back to put runners at the corners with nobody out here in the third.
That's a big momentum shift. You know, bases loaded, nobody out. You get one. The Astros are feeling pretty good getting into that dugout. They were figuring that inning started, we're going to be down by a few.
Good bunt. Gallardo's only play is first base, a sacrifice for Figueroa. Second and third, one away, back to the top of the order.
Hey fans, collect the Brewers player profile poster every Friday in your Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. A different player will be featured every week. Sponsored by Freighter Health Medical Group.
Kicks off a 6-game homestand tonight. The Reds are coming in Monday. 3-game series with the division leaders right now. The Central Division is tightly packed. Cincinnati got off to that great start. They've leveled out somewhat since, having dropped 6 of their last 10. The Reds and the Cardinals are at the top of the division at 10 and 9. They play each other tonight. Cubs lost earlier today. The Dodgers beat Chicago. Cubs are 9 and 10 now. And then the Brewers are in there at 9 and 9. There's a base hit. That's going to score one. Quintero will stop around third, as Michael Bourne ties the game with a single.
Guy's a tough out. He's had some pretty good games against Milwaukee. The one thing you're assured of is that Michael Bourne is going to try and steal a base. He's 8 for 8 so far this year. Now, fastball down, out over the plate, and that's right where Bourne likes it. And he just serves it into center field. Good at bat by Michael Bourne, and ties the game.
Bourne has led the National League in stolen bases the last 2 years. You don't figure him to be at first base long. Last year, Bourne stole 52 bags in an all-star season, first time all-star. The year before that, he had 61 steals.
Yeah, Bourne, one of those guys that always has the green light. I mean, third base coach is going to be flashing signs, but the only sign he gets from time to time is "do not steal here" sign. Every other time he's free to go when he wants.
Angel Sanchez at the plate. Gallardo paying a lot of attention to Bourne. Has not been caught this season. in the air to right. Pretty well hit. Kate is backing up. Makes the catch. Quintero on his way to the plate, and he'll score. Sacrifice fly and an RBI. The Astros have a 2-1 lead.
And Quintero still having a tough time after getting hit by that pitch. See the welt on there right by the elbow.
Well, we'll keep an eye on him throughout the game. So 2 men are out. Gallardo has given up 2 runs here. A leadoff triple, a hit batter, and a single. And now it's Hunter Pence. There goes Bourne. Lucroy's throw is one hopped in. Bourne steals his 9th of the year. Lucroy had a good pitch to throw out a base runner with.
Yeah, up and away, not too bad, but he had to be very quick because Bourne is at full speed very quickly. It's short hop because he wasn't really able to shuffle his feet. He threw flat-footed on his backside.
And now the Astros with a runner in scoring position. Michael Bourne is 9 for 9 this year in steals. And going back to last season, 17 consecutive stolen bases without being caught. Gallardo plays it off his wrist and takes care of Pence. A 2-run inning for the Astros against Gallardo. Brewers are coming up bottom of the 3rd. When we come back, we'll visit with Mark Atanasio, the Brewers owner.
Saying that I've been a part of a group of guys who have come in here and tried to kind of change the culture and get back to having the perception of being a winning organization. You know, when guys like Robin Yount played here and Gorman Thomas, Paul Molitor, Jim Gantner, when all those guys were here, it was a special place to play. And I think the group of guys we have here today, not only the players but the coaches, the personnel, I think everybody here is a part of us headed back in the right direction, of us getting back to being a winning organization, of being a team that other guys want to play for.
The comments of Ryan Braun from yesterday. He thanked everybody but you and I, Rock. We were all left out. Mark Atanasio is joining us, and that has to be great to hear from him. And we'll get into the contract and all of that as we continue on through this inning. And first of all, welcome to the booth.
Thanks,
and I know
Brian.
it's been a fun couple of days for you, but how about your comments on locking up one of the premier players in the league?
Well, just what a great day for Brewers baseball. Ryan, now he said it all yesterday better than I could say it, which is one of the reasons we wanted to sign him. He really is the epitome of the kind of player we want to have here.
Tell us how all that got started. I mean, that was really quiet. It kind of caught everybody by surprise. Tell us about the process.
Well, as we said yesterday, Rock, Ryan's agent called in middle of spring training and said, "I'd like to come and see you and Doug about making Ryan a Brewer for life." And I said, "Really?"
As Weeks draws the walk. Yeah, Rock speculated in our open today that was probably one of the easiest contracts you've been able to slide in front of somebody, right?
Yeah, well, when you sign something into 9 figures, it's always complicated.
Yeah. But the fact that Ryan wanted to stay here, I mean, that was the easy part. You wanted just a matter of getting the finances together. But, you got to be happy with some of the guys you've locked up for the long-term deals. You got, Go, and you've got Ricky Weeks, Corey Hart, now Ryan Braun for 10 years. It's got to feel good.
One of the things we try to do here, we were very fortunate to have.
They're going to stay fair. They'll let it roll, and it lands on the line. That is a fair ball base hit. Carlos Gomez.
Yeah, well, you can't blame Quintero. I mean, even if he picked it up and he could throw the baseball, we're not sure that he's able to. Just got hit on the elbow, but once that ball bounced a couple of times, there was no way they're going to be able to throw Gomez at first base.
I'm not sure I've ever seen an umpire move a catcher out of the way like that.
Out of my way. I got work to do. And speaking of Ryan Braun, he bats now with 2 men on. Listen to this hand
another
again.
Standing ovation maybe for Ryan.
The second of the night. In a contract comparable to the Troy Tulowitzki deal with the Rockies, it is an interesting time in baseball when markets like Milwaukee, Colorado, they can sign players, and Ryan talked about this on the pregame show, how much he enjoys playing here, and when he thought about where he wanted to be, this was it. So that's where the contract in his mind comes from, and why he made the inquiry.
He apparently had thought about it a lot into the offseason and then into spring training, and talked to his family and decided it's what he wanted. And Doug and I both felt that, talk about a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for an organization. Of a player like this who really is on a historic arc in terms of his offensive production, and to, at the age of 27, tell you he wants to be with the team for his whole career. Very special opportunity, we felt.
Has to make you feel good as well. You took over this ball club beginning with the 05 season, and now you're in a position where free agents want to play here. Guys like Ryan Braun want to stay here. That says something about you and the operation and everything that is experienced here in Milwaukee.
And it all starts with the 3 million fans we're able to have come in the door every year, Brian. Because fans and secondarily our sponsors really put us in position to do the things that we're doing.
And Ryan said he wanted, it's all about winning, and I think you got to, you and Doug Melvin, and I think a lot of it has to do with in spring training. Ryan wanted to extend that deal with bolstering up that pitching staff. Greinke and Markham and bringing Saito over here. So the commitment that you have shown to the organization, he in return is showing the commitment that, hey, I want to be here because you guys want to win as well.
As Braun sends one deep left center, that's got some heat on it, and it's gone! A line drive missile out of here. Ryan Braun on cue gives the Brewers the lead. That's about as fast as a baseball can leave the yard right there.
Mark, both of us have seen just about every one of Ryan Braun's at bat. So, since he's come up, I don't remember him being more locked in at the plate than he is right now.
Well, and I got to say, I can't help but smiling after see that. But Ryan told me that the game is all coming to him here. He just told me last night he's never felt more comfortable.
Yeah.
We went out. Debbie and I went out to dinner with his family last night, and with Ryan, his girlfriend, and his agent. And
Fielder, deep center. This is going to be playable for Bourne. He just missed it on the bat, and that is the first out. Continue, Mark, as we watch the Braun home run.
Yeah, missed his spot, didn't he? Wanted it up and in, left it out over the plate, and that's a no-no to a guy like Browning. We're not going to get many of those back.
listen to the sound of that, huh?
A special hitter, and as you mentioned, I mean, guys like Braun and Fielder are just a different sound off their bats, even in batting practice.
You know, one of the things I think that's especially telling about Ryan this year is, and I think he's got more walks than strikeouts this year. And so he's, you know, and he's still getting better. I know that's hard to believe, but he's only 27 years old. So
yeah, 15 walks, 10 strikeouts. Pretty good. You look over the stats a little bit.
Yeah, well, yeah, we paid a lot of attention to the statistics as we were picking through this. So. But you know, look, we want to build. To get to your point, Rock. You know, Ryan, Giovanni, Corey Hart, Ricky Weeks. We want this to be a place that young players can develop and that they want to stay. And interestingly, with Ricky and Corey, Giovanni was a little different because he was a little earlier in his career. They also reached out to us and said they wanted to be here. So you have, and that obviously Giovanni wanted to be here because he signed a contract, but I think he was only 23 when he signed it. But the other guys had been here for a while and let us know they wanted to stay here, and that's a great feeling.
And it is a team with a lot of experience. These guys have been around a while, but they're not very old. I mean, these are young kids still with a lot of valuable, you know, experience. They've been around. Now, this is Giovanni's 5th season with the Brewers. He's only, what, 26?
Yeah, he's if
25,
even, right?
25, yeah.
And they've had a lot of success winning together, and that's the other thing I was trying to keep together.
There's a base hit for Casey McGee.
You know, you had one of the things when I brought the team, I focused on was the culture, because I'm sorry to say the team had, unfortunately, through some of its challenges, it developed more of a culture of losing. And I, as an owner, I was trying to figure out how I could change that culture. And frankly, these guys made it easy for me because they've been winners their whole life, this young group of players. So my job was to just try to help keep them together. And by the way, I give Doug Melvin a lot of credit because Doug has really had that as a blueprint for success and what he's been trying to do here. Doug has kind of made it a mission to try to keep as many of the young guys as he could.
Well, it should be an exciting year. A great offseason, of course. Doug Melvin, Zach Manassian in there with him, and the signing of, or the trade for Zach Greinke, the signing of Takashi Saito, the Markham trade has really turned around the season, you would hope, as Katse bounces into a 4-6-3 double play. Mark, it's great to have you. Congratulations.
Thanks,
I know you're anxious to get down there and watch the rest of this game. Thanks for coming up.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mark Atanasio as we go out with Ryan Braun. He gives the Brewers the lead. A 3-run shot in the 3rd inning.
Time to check in with the crew in the community. Join Brewers first baseman Prince Fielder as he hosts a bowl-a-thon on Wednesday, June 22nd at Pinstripes Bowling, located at iPick Entertainment at Bayshore Town Center. And this will totally help benefit the YMCA as the proceeds raised will build a centralized school library for Youth Leaders Academy located at the North Side YMCA. B.A.?
All right, thank you, Telly. Behind the plate, Luke Croy right there. Carlos Lee retired. Gallardo has the first out. We were cut short in our time with Mark Atanasio with the double play from Katse, but we can tell you, because obviously the elephant in the room is the Prince Fielder contract next, and we had a quick visit. Rock and I talked to Mark, and we can pass along that Mark says, you know, hopefully there will be an opportunity to sign Prince Fielder. He wants to stay. The Brewers want to sign him. It's just, it depends on what the market will bear, and the Brewers certainly have to be able to, in Mark's words, be able to look forward and continue to bring in players to continue a winning tradition here.
Right. And the fact that they signed Ryan to such a lucrative contract extension really doesn't have any bearing on trying to sign Prince, because there is some flexibility in the contract with Braun that the Brewers would still be able to come up with the funds to be able to sign the big fella, and that is an ongoing process.
It was good to have Mark up here. I know he was anxious to discuss the signing of Ryan Braun as Wallace singles into left field. The other newsworthy item that has come up concerning Mark Atanasio is the talk about the McCourt situation in Los Angeles with the Dodgers, and Mark has publicly stated he has not inquired about the Dodgers. His name keeps surfacing, but that's just rumor, and it is, in his words, not true. He's happy here. He even pointed to the fact that you have 3 guys from Los Angeles who are 100% committed to Milwaukee. You've got Mark Atanasio, Ryan Braun, and the new manager Ron Renicky, who has a multi-year contract as well.
Major League Baseball taking over day-to-day operations of the Dodgers. That second time that's happened in recent memory. You know, the Montreal Expos were taken over by Major League Baseball. It's happened once in hockey, Phoenix Coyotes, and once in the NBA. I forget who it was.
It was the New Orleans Hornets, I believe. Baseball has been involved on many different levels. They're all different. Getting involved like baseball has with the Dodgers is a bit unusual in that they have they'll have personnel in there. And I think the Dodgers will now be able to maybe move forward a little bit and maybe get some closure if in fact the club is sold. But there's so much that has to happen, and you can understand why a reporter in Los Angeles or a media outlet would link up Mark Atanasio's name. He's from there, and there are a number of owners that have been connected to future ownership. But Mark says that his heart is in Milwaukee. They just bought a home here, as a matter of fact, the Atanasios. As Gallardo strikes out Chris Johnson for the second out. That is the 5th strikeout for Yovani Gallardo. And that leads us to our AT&T trivia. Who led the Brewers in home runs in 06? Bill Hall, Carlos Lee, or Prince Fielder? 2 current Astros, 1 current Brewer. All 3 former teammates.
There are a number of former Brewers on the Astros, including Jamie Quirk.
Good one. You pulled Jamie Quirk off the deck. That would have won you a beer at the pub.
Right.
In the starting lineup alone, you've got 3 former Brewers playing for the Astros. Figueroa and Lee and Bill Hall. Hall's just glad to be back in the starting lineup. He escaped a serious injury in New York at Citi Field. This was just the other day as Hall goes crashing into the wall. He actually made the catch here.
Watch the knees. Ooh. And yep, I had the baseball. That's a knees buckled back. Yikes.
Fearless Bill Hall. Always plays hard. Injured his ankle on that play, though. Thought he'd miss a couple of days. Turns out it wasn't much. He was injured in the second inning on Wednesday. Had to take him out of that Wednesday game. Thursday had a chance to heal a little bit, and he's back in the starting lineup tonight.
Incidentally, Jamie Quirk, the bullpen coach for the Astros, he was a Brewers catcher in '77.
77. I kind of, when I think about Jamie Quirk, I think about
Kansas City.
Yeah, the 80s.
Yep, Kansas City Royals.
Two balls and a strike on Hall. 2 outs in the inning. And a bender in there for a strike. Buckled his knees, and it's 2-2.
He's got a good one tonight, Giovanni. That curveball. It really hadn't had much of a feel for it his last couple of outings.
Giovanni with 5 strikeouts. And Hall just gets a piece. One thing about Bill Hall, and certainly his stance, his mechanics remain the same, but he's a guy who will take a guess every now and then, and when he guesses right, he can hit him a long way.
And when he doesn't, he's going to take fastballs right down the middle. As a Brewer, I remember talking to hitting coaches, and whether it was Dale Swaim or Butch Weiniger, gets frustrated, in fact, that he looks for sliders all the time. I'm not saying he does that anymore.
See what Gallardo does with him here. The 2-2, and he lays off. Good take from Hall. It's 3-2.
Aren't many hitters that can go up there, look slider, and still react to fastball. A lot of times you look slider, you'll even swing at it if it's out of the zone.
We're on a no-hitter watch tonight. Marlins and the Rockies. Anibal Sanchez, who has a Major League no-hitter, is through 8 innings of no-hit baseball. Runner goes. Hall swings and fouls it away. So we're keeping an eye on that for you. Anytime there's a significant story developing, we'll keep our tape machines rolling. And the Marlins are at home tonight against Colorado. Anibal Sanchez has a couple of one-hitters over his career and the no-hitter, but he has 114 pitches through 8 innings.
Yeah, that's a lot for this time of year.
Full count, 2 outs. Hall draws the walk, and he's been aboard twice against Giovanni Gallardo.
Hey, come out to Miller Park this weekend and see the Brewers battle these Houston Astros. Tickets are still available for Saturday and Sunday, and don't forget that every fan in attendance on Sunday gets a John Axford bobblehead that's courtesy of Palermo's Pizza and Piggly Wiggly.
So the Stros with 2 on now. 2 outs in the inning, and it's Humberto Quintero. Quintero hit by a fastball his first time up, got him on the back arm. Gallardo was very sharp the first 2 innings. Retired the first 6 in order with 4 strikeouts. Ran into some trouble in the third, and now he's back in trouble here in the fourth.
Yeah, this is the part of the order that gave him problems first time through. Bottom of the order. 65 pitches, 39 of them strikes.
In Gallardo's complete game against Atlanta, he threw just 111 pitches across 9 innings. And really hasn't been the same since. Gallardo's given up 11 earned runs in 10 1/3 innings since then. There's a good looking breaking ball. And it's a ball and 2 strikes on the Astros catcher.
Yeah, good break on it, and he pulled the string on Quintero, who was way out in front. And those 7 runs came from the 4th inning on, so you're talking about 2 1/3 innings. He was very good the first 3 innings of that ball game.
2 on, 2 out, and the 1-2 pitch. Quintero lays off. The Brewers get a 3-run homer from Ryan Braun in the bottom of the 3rd to take a 4-2 lead. Quintero on the ground. Betancourt cannot make the play. Another run is going to score. On his way to 3rd goes Hall. The throw is off the mark. 4-3 Milwaukee as Quintero delivers with a 2-out, 2-strike single.
Yeah, a bunch of curveballs in a row. I think it was 3 in a row, and this time Yo left one up in the zone, and Quintero just punched it into center field. Back to back to back breaking pitches. Not a bad one, but it looked as though Quintero was on it. I'd say Bill Hall was fouling off some pretty good curveballs as well. Almost as if they know they're coming.
Wallace scores the run, and Gallardo has given up 3 now. The pitcher Figueroa at the plate with 2 away. Little tapper back to the mound. And the side retired, but Houston chips away a bit. They get a run on a 2-out hit from Quintero, and it's 4-3 Milwaukee.
Reset. Jonathan Lucroy reaches on a fielder's choice, but he's credited with an RBI as Prince and the crew will go up 1-0. Down a run in the 3rd. Ryan Braun would change that with 1 swing of the bat and put the crew up by 2 runs with his 3-run home run, his 6th of the season. He now has 15 RBIs, and we're now in the bottom of the 4th, and it's a 4-3 Brewers lead. Brian?
All right, Telly, thanks. Under the roof of Miller Park, the Texas Longhorn here. I wonder if he's rooting for the Astros. He'd be one of the few here. 4-3 our score. The Brewers lead the Astros. And it'll be Yuniesky Betancourt to lead off. Betancourt was a key out for Figueroa in the second inning. The Brewers had the bases loaded, nobody out, as Betancourt sends one deep left center. But Bourne will run this one down. Sounded good, but didn't get it. And Betancourt is retired. So Anibal Sanchez is heading back out for the ninth inning. And he's trying to post a second no-hitter. Got our eyes on that game for you. He threw a no-hitter back in 2006. September of 06 against the Diamondbacks. And a number of injuries later, he's back and pitching well for the Marlins. Florida is off to a good start this year. They are 11-6, trailing the Phillies by a half game in the National League East. They've got a new ballpark opening up next year.
Kind of interesting. Sanchez with a no-hitter, but it's a 4-1 game.
Right. They gave up a run.
Gave up a run in the first inning.
I believe there was an error. Is that right?
I don't know. I'm looking. I'm efforting.
Sacrifice fly. I know there was an error that led to the run. Figueroa facing Lucroy. One away in the fourth. And a sweeping breaking ball. All right, let's take you out to Florida, courtesy of our friends at Root Sports, covering the Rockies. And the no-hitter's gone. Dexter Fowler, I believe that was.
Yep, didn't hit it all that well, but able to sneak it out in the right field.
Slow roller out to Hall. He makes a play for out number 2. So Sanchez takes a no-hitter through 8 complete. That was fun while it lasted. 5 no-hitters last year in the regular season. 1 in the postseason. 2 of those perfect games in the year of the pitcher. What do you think? Are we going to have a pitcher's year this year or a hitter's year, you think?
Hard to say, right? What would you say it is so far? A little bit of both? Kind of nondescript?
Yeah, it's kind of right in the middle.
No advantage to either one.
That one is hit hard. Gallardo sends one deep left center, and it's gone. Giovanni Gallardo helping his own cause tonight. 5-3 Milwaukee.
Boy, a frozen rope by Yo. Wow. That ball was smoked. Looked almost the same as Ryan Braun's home run. That was a fastball. Figueroa has been locating everything very well except for his fastball. Both home runs coming on fastballs that missed their spot. And with 2 outs and nobody on, Mr. Instant Offense does it again.
Wow. What a weapon to have at the bottom of the order. Gallardo's 9th career home run, which is a franchise record. And he's only 25 years of age. First home run of the season for Gallardo. Gives him his 2nd RBI. And the Brewers get the run right back. 5-3 Milwaukee.
Hey, remember Giovanni before his first at bat went over to talk to Dale Swaim, the hitting coach? That's something you never see a pitcher do. What's he throw, Dale? Give me a report. What's he going to do?
Sure,
Most
Dale
pitchers
Swaim appreciates that.
Most pitchers don't care. They just want to get it over with, right? Of course, the Brewers starters are pretty good at swinging the bat.
Did you watch pitchers batting practice today?
I did.
Did you see Zach Greinke?
Yeah.
Zach Greinke was hitting balls up over the Friday's front row grill. Look, Greinke's telling everybody where he was hitting them today in batting practice.
I can't wait to see that guy pitch a game.
Oh yeah, and he does that too.
Did very well in his first rehab assignment. 1 infield hit, the rest outs. He's got a couple of more, and then he's going to be here.
He will definitely make 2 more starts in the minor leagues. You can stop speculation that he's going to come back after his next start. Ron Renicky made that very clear today. Earlier today, Greinke, who threw a bullpen here yesterday, a little light tossing today, and back on the mound to just keep his mechanics in check. His bullpen yesterday was witnessed by Ron Renicky and Rick Kranitz, and he's a guy who likes to throw twice between starts. He'll start on Sunday for Nashville, and then he'll make 1 more start next Friday, and then he will return. I think the Brewers, if they have it mapped out and everything goes well, he'll return in Atlanta on the next road trip.
And you saw the delivery for Zach Greinke. Boy, it's just a classic delivery. He follows through nicely. That's where he gets that good movement. Throws hard with good movement. A solid delivery. Not a whole lot of quirkiness to that.
Ricky Weeks draws a walk. So after the home run by Gallardo, Weeks walks. Speaking of scouting reports, the one that Gallardo went after, here's what Dale Swaim had to say. Our Nissan scouting report on Nelson Figueroa.
He's a guy who's just not going to give in at all. Anytime he's going to throw his breaking ball. Anytime his slider, cutter to lefties with a slider and a big slow curveball. He's going to mix some fastballs in, but he's going to basically pitch off all his slow stuff. Just try to keep you off balance, trying to keep the ball in the ballpark as much as he can.
He tries the best he can not to throw fastballs for strikes.
Tries to get you to chase him.
Chase high fastballs, and he's the 2 home runs that he's given up, both on fastballs that he hasn't been able to locate very well.
And thanks to Telly Hughes, you get to hear exactly what Giovanni Gallardo heard from Dale Swaim. Telly's the one out hustling before the games.
Yeah, he's here early, stays late.
And we appreciate Dale Swaim offering up his scouting reports on a daily basis. Gomez into right. Pretty well hit, but Pence is there. And the side is retired, but not before Giovanni Gallardo adds to his franchise record. Number 9 of his career. 5-3 Milwaukee.
Brewers in the next 24 hours They get 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to a Brewers home game this year. This offer courtesy of the Tavern Lake of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
5-3 ball game. The Brewers lead the Astros as we head to the 5th, and Giovanni Gallardo. Still a little bit of haze hanging around. You know, the fireworks go off after home runs, and it's like a cloud in here. Had to have my eyes checked. But now I realize where it came from.
You don't get that so much in the summer.
No, but you know, there's room for it to go, right? She's trapped in here tonight.
Well, you got the heavy air, the rain, the humidity, all that, and it just sticks around. No place for it to go, gets beaten down.
I guess they could open up the panels if you asked them to, but players probably wouldn't like it.
Be too cold.
What a treat it is to come back. You appreciate this ballpark so much more when you've been on a 9-game road trip. Players, coaches, managers, broadcasters. Slap down the line. Braun giving chase. That is a fair ball. Bounces up into the seats, and Michael Bourne with his second hit. This guy's always been tough on the Brewers.
Yeah, well, he's got a nice swing. He knows what his assets are, and he does a good job of using them, just trying to hit the ball where it's pitched, get on base, run. Able to slice this one right down that left field line. One hop and into the seats. Doesn't try and pull it. Normally hits the ball on the ground and tries to steal bases.
Has a stolen base tonight. That is a shot right field. Base hit. Kotze up with it. Bourne's going to try to score. Nope, he'll stop. He was being waved home, and Bourne is the one who decided not to run. He didn't get a great jump off second base.
Well, he had to make sure that ball was over the head of Prince Fielder. Dave Clark, the third base coach, had him wheeled around from the beginning, and Michael Bourne saying, hey, wait a minute, I'm not that fast. And he held up. Good job. That's what I meant.
That's what I meant.
Stay here. That's a nice piece of hitting right there by Sanchez. See him drop that back leg and just shoot at the right field. He was trying to get Bourne over to third base. He did it, and he ends up at first.
Yeah, maybe with 2 outs you take that shot, but with nobody out, Bourne holds up first and third, and here's Pence. Well, Gallardo is really battling here after the second inning. Ton of base runners.
Throwing a lot of breaking pitches. That's what we saw from him in Washington. Heard Rick Kranitz before the ball game saying he'd like to see him establish that fastball like he did in his first couple of starts.
Fielder makes a great play, gets the out at second. The run will score. That saved a hit. Nicely done by Prince Fielder, but the Astros have tacked one on as well. It's now 5-4 Milwaukee on an RBI ground out from, or rather Fielder's choice from Pence.
Yeah, that was a nice play by Prince. And that's the benefit of playing off the bag just a little bit with a man at first base. You know, able to get to it. If Prince is holding the runner right on top of first base like most teams do, that ball's in the right field. Good play.
Astros have 6 hits and 4 runs on the board with Carlos Lee at the plate. Lee is 0 for 2. A couple of outs in the air. Hit one hard in the second inning, but a line drive to the right fielder Kotze. That buckled his knees, and it's 1-1.
1-0 pitch, and he goes with the breaking ball right down the middle.
Let's take you back to our AT&T trivia question tonight. Give you the answer. Question was about home runs with 3 different players, 2 of them with the Astros now, but in 06 they were all Brewers. Bill Hall, Carlos Lee, Prince Fielder. Bill Hall out-homered Prince Fielder and El Caballo. 35 home runs for Hall.
And did most of that as a utility player that played every day. He didn't have one set position. Second, short, third base. Put up that kind of production.
Well, the Brewers had Billy Hall as a center fielder. Had him at third base. He's always wanted to play just one position, but he's been valuable as a utility man. In Boston last year with the Red Sox, he played all over and did a pretty good job for Terry Francona. But in 06, Billy Hall led just about every major offensive category here in Milwaukee, and it earned him a multi-year contract. He has not been able to achieve those numbers since. Little pop-up out in front, and Gallardo gives way to Prince. Out number 2. How about our carsoup.com email the booth question? This is for you, Rock. Mike in Ellsworth wants to know, what is your favorite food at Miller Park?
I think you can answer that for me. Why don't you go ahead?
Would that be like a nice juicy Clement sausage?
Yes, it would.
You're partial to the chorizo these days for some reason.
I like those. I like those on occasion, but you can't beat the Clement's bratwurst. Put it on the grill. You know, I haven't been able to use the grill too much. Have you got your grill going yet?
Oh, yeah, in the garage. Had to call the fire marshal.
That's good. In the garage with the real coals, right?
Yes, we were.
Well done.
Yep, that didn't go over so well, but we tried. Firemen coming over, sending out smoke signals to the neighborhood.
I tell you, the pre-cooked Italians aren't too bad either.
And you have a particular way that you cook.
Yeah, right.
That you grill, which I think is the right way, having tasted your efforts. Weeks knocks it down, but that's going to be a base hit. And Brett Wallace has 2 hits against Gallardo, and the Astros continue to put base runners on.
Yeah, Ricky was shaded over in the hole. You could see right there, able to knock it down, and I think he gets it in his glove and he does a backhand shovel pass. That might have been close, but Ricky had a long way to go.
Can you refresh us again on your
you get
method?
The brat. It's got to be the raw brat. I mean, the uncooked, and you put it on the grill first. Now, some people disagree with me, but I like to do the beer and the onions after you grill them.
Grill them up, then put them in.
You don't have to cook them all the way through. You don't want to burn them beyond recognition, like I'm sure that it happens in the Anderson household.
In the garage.
In the garage. 4-alarm fire. They cook them about halfway. You put them in the boiled beer and the onions, and you let them sit. Like that's particularly a good idea if you have a bunch of people coming over. You stick them in there. They stay moist. They stay hot. They don't overcook. Perfect.
And now you know the secret to Bill's Grill. I noticed they were asking you about that on MLB Network the other day. Our buddies Chris Rose and Kevin Millar were asking you about your grilling technique. So at least somebody can appreciate what you offer on the grill.
You know, they asked me. They said, "What is the most important thing to remember about grilling brats?" I said, "Make sure they're Clement." That's right. There you go.
Huh?
That's heaven. Yes, it is.
We always have the grill footage ready for Rock. Look at him. He's salivating over here. Big cut of the miss. Come back to us, partner.
It's all part of summer. All part of baseball. Summer. I grill even in the wintertime once in a while.
In your garage.
Yeah.
Never a good idea, by the way.
No.
Full count to Chris Johnson. Gallardo has struck him out twice. Giovanni has had to make some stressful pitches tonight. The Astros have put at least 3 men on base in the last 3 innings. 3 hits in this inning. A run is in. Runners go back up the middle. Nice play, Gallardo. That saved the run right there. Giovanni gets the out, preserves the lead, but it has been a grinder for Gallardo as Ryan Braun is ready to lead off. His home run gave the Brewers the lead back in the 3rd. Braun, Fielder, and McGee coming up. Visit your local Lowe's for savings and a free MLB fan guide. Compliments of Scott's. I got the Scott's man coming out next week.
Yeah.
Got to get that big league lawn, Rock. That's
right.
important.
Is your aerate yet?
He's handling all that. That's the beauty of my friend from Scott's.
Do you know what that is?
Brian. Oh, yeah.
Aerating?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Got a big yard, too. I wouldn't blame you, people. That 5-6 acres
I just
out
like
there?
I like to let the professionals take over. "5-4 Brewers." Braun and Gallardo with home runs tonight. Braun's made it a 4-2 Brewers lead. The Astros had taken the lead with 2 in the 3rd inning. And then Braun on cue as we were interviewing the owner that just gave him over $100 million contract. He hits one out. And Braun draws a walk. Had a good start. The Brewers have had a ton of base runners as well. Say, fans, you can vote for your favorite Brewers for the 2011 All-Star team, and you'll be eligible to win great prizes, including a night in Ryan Braun's suite with a visit from Ryan himself. For details, visit brewers.com/allstars starting April 26th. Vote early, vote often, and most importantly, vote Brewers. So a decision made here. Remember, Brad Mills, the Astros manager, and the pitching coach, Brad Arnsberg, both ejected in the 2nd inning. So it's Al Pedrique who makes the change, a double switch. Figueroa is coming out. We'll take a break. To programming every Saturday and Sunday morning, you can experience everything from the pursuit of fish and game to exploring the best weekend destinations. Fox Sports Wisconsin Outdoors, presented by Menards, Saturdays at 6 a.m., Sundays at 8 a.m. only on Fox Sports Wisconsin. So Figueroa is out. He goes 4+ tonight, and the new pitcher is left-hander Fernando Abad.
Yeah, already in his 11th game. 11 games already for Abad, and this is game number 20 for the Houston Astros. 1-1 record. And a double switch. Matt Downs takes over for Johnson at third base.
Johnson made the final out of the top of the 5th. Now Fielder with Braun at first. 5-4 Milwaukee. It has been a shaky game for the pitchers tonight. Figueroa and Gallardo both scuffling. A lot of hits early, a lot of runs on the board early. Fielder narrowly missed a home run his last time up. He just caught it a little bit off the end of the bat. And a fly ball out to center field. He has walked today. He scored a run. Prince has been so good against left-handed pitching this year.
10 for 20 so far this year. I'll say that's pretty good.
Fielder had 3 hits against Cliff Lee, his last matchup with a left-hander. That was on Wednesday.
They officially 10 for 21. My mistake. According to my scorebook, this is the only left-hander in the bullpen for the Houston Astros, and they're using him here in the 5th inning.
Fielder back up the middle, but it's bobbled by Sanchez. He flips to the bag. It's in time for the out.
Between his legs. Should have been a double play. Astros have been very poor defensively so far this year. They've committed the most errors of any team in the NL. Sanchez upset with himself because that should have been a double play. He did a pretty good job getting one after he booted it. Now check it out. It's a 1 hopper. If he gets it right away, it's 2. Check it out. His backhand shoveled pass over to Bill Hall, who was there. Tried to be a little bit too quick. Check it out. Good recovery.
Yeah, good play by Hall. And the Astros get something out of it as McGee sends one foul. This game has the feeling of a grinder. One of those that you're hoping you can get some success on the mound for the Brewers. I feel like some runs are going to continue here. First team that has shutdown innings is going to win this one. That's for sure. It has not been that way from the start. Gallardo was off to a great start. He retired the first 6, but he scuffled the last 3 innings, and his night is close to the end. Probably has one more inning in him. It's already near 100 pitches in the inning, or in the game. The Brewers chase Astros starter Nelson Figueroa after 4+, 6 hits and 5 earned runs.
And 6 hits, but he walked 5. That's what chased him. A lot of walks.
McGee, a shot off the glove of Hall. Fielder around second. He'll stop there as Casey blisters one back up the middle. Hall made a great effort at it. 2 men are on with 1 out.
Boy, Casey has really been hitting some baseballs right on the nose in the last week or so. Talked about all the line drives he hit that were caught by the Phillies. Another bullet off the glove of Bill Hall. That could have easily been a double play as well. The Brewers very fortunate in this inning that the Astros haven't been able to handle the baseball.
Hall took a stab at a hot shot from McGee. Goes as an infield hit. Mark Kotsay now with one away. Kotsay fighting a bit at the plate. Does have a hit tonight. He is 1 for 2. Kotsay's been better against lefties in his limited action against left-handers, but has 2 hits. 2 of his 8 hits this year come against left-handed pitching. He's 2 for 3.
Does a good job of keeping that front shoulder closed and shooting it up the middle and into left.
Five 4 Milwaukee, 2 on, 1 out. And a good block back there from Quintero. That keeps Fielder and McGee pegged to their bags. Textbook here.
Yeah, good solid defensively. And just like you draw it up, you keep that glove down between the legs, you keep it on the ground, and you block it with the chest.
And good catchers, especially on breaking balls. And you're almost expecting one in the dirt. And you have to.
Yeah. Anticipation, that's what blocking pitches is all about. That's why most of the time when you see balls go to the screen, they're fastballs. You don't expect them. You have a tough time getting down on your knees when a ball is coming at 93, 94 miles an hour.
Here's a 1-2. Kotsay almost hit. Buzzed his knees. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That's what you call a pitcher moving the feet of the hitter.
Man, what do you expect now if you're Kotsay, right? Slider away.
And he rips it to Hall. They're going to get it. Oh, he throws it away. Fielder on his way to third. The inning continues here as the Astros are throwing it around the ballpark.
Boy, how many outs are you going to give the Brewers in this inning? Man.
Very fortunate.
Yeah. Well, we talked about the Astros and how poorly they've been playing defense. That's their 20th error already this year in their 20th game. And you ask yourself, how can a team that has been pretty good scoring runs have a 7-12 record? Well, the defense has been terrible. Last in fielding percentage in the National League.
So the Brewers have a golden opportunity here. Remember the misplay by Sanchez. He managed an out, but that looked like a routine double play when it left the bat. Hall had one to go off his glove as Casey McGee singled. And now another missed opportunity. The error allows the base runners to advance. And they're going to check Casey McGee over at first.
Make sure he tagged up.
Mike McClinsky, the first base umpire, says he is legal. Well, Betancourt had a chance in the second. He struck out with the bases loaded. Another shot here in the 5th.
It's a changeup, and Betancourt way out in front. A notorious first pitch fastball hitter.
Betancourt is 0 for 2. Flew out to deep center his last time up. A base hit, a chance to score a couple, especially if it's to left field. Hunter Pence has the best arm in the outfield. He's in right. strong and accurate. One of the best throwers in the National League. Two on, two out, and he's out in front of a 2-1 offering. Count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Another off-speed pitch, and Betancourt waves at another changeup. That was a pretty good spot to put it. Look how high Humberto Quintero sets up. I'm amazed at that.
Jose Valdez in the bullpen. This might be Abad's last hitter. Gallardo patiently waits. 3-2, and it's ripped under the glove of Downs. Fielder scores. McGee will score. Betancourt on his way to second.
That might be 2 errors right there. Carlos Lee booted it out and left.
2 more runs in for Milwaukee. It is 7-4 Brewers.
Oh, that is just dreadful defense by the Astros. The Brewers will take it, that's for sure. How many outs did the Astros give the Brewers in this inning? Hits it hard, but that's got to be played. And then Carlos Lee kicks it out in left field. That could essentially be 2 errors on the play. Or none. That depends on how the official scorer wants to handle it.
Downs just into the game on the double switch. Lee bobbled it, and Betancourt heads up, took the extra base. And here comes Al Pedrique, who is the acting manager here after Brad Mills was ejected. He'll make another pitching change. 7-4 Milwaukee.
Run lead, and a reminder, come out to Miller Park May 9th through the 14th and save 50% on select seats during your Milwaukee Brewers 5-county 5-day celebration. Some exclusions apply. For tickets, call 414-902-4000 or go to brewers.com today.
2 more runs on the board here in the 5th inning. A dreadful defensive inning for the Astros. And Betancourt's shot was ruled an error on third baseman Matt Downs. The second error of this inning for Houston.
Surprised they didn't give Carlos Lee an error out and left.
Could have easily handed Lee an error as Betancourt advances second. You see the numbers on Jose Valdez. Just his 3rd appearance. And the 3rd pitcher used by the Astros tonight. Yeah, Betancourt was rounding first, and once he saw Carlos Lee bobble in left field, he took advantage. Ends up at second base. And now a base hit. The Brewers can add to it. There have been 2 errors in this inning, but there have been 4 misplays. in this inning.
They're giving the Brewers about 6-7 outs in this inning when you include the double plays.
Betancourt hit it hard. That one could have gone either way. Certainly Downs would tell you that's a play he has to make. Brewers get 2 out of it. Looking for more in the 5th. As Lucroy takes one down and out. Lucroy is 0 for 2. He does have an RBI tonight. Drove in a run on a fielder's choice. Drove in the first Brewers run. Sean Markham back with the club. Pleased to hear that his father's heart surgery, which put Markham on the bereavement list for a couple of days, was a success. Markham will pitch tomorrow.
Boy, and he's been throwing the baseball well. Wow. He and Randy Wolf did not give up a run on the last road trip.
Lucroy, a swing and a miss. The inning is finally over for the Astros. A poor defensive inning. The Brewers lead 7-4.
And in Miller Park, every Friday is a $13 Fair Friday. That purchase includes one Terrace Reserve ticket to one of 13 Friday Brewers games during the 2011 season and one general admission ticket to the 2011 State Fair presented by U.S. Cellular. That's August 4th to the 14th. Offer valid for marquee opponents like the Cubs, Cardinals, and Twins. Tickets are subject to availability.
Nicely done, partner. 7-4 our score. The Brewers lead the Astros. Had a scoring change between innings. So Betancourt will be given a single and 2 RBIs. And the error belongs to Carlos Lee in left field. That allows Betancourt to advance. If you like to keep a scorebook at home.
That's a scoring decision that makes everyone happy.
Except Carlos Lee.
Right.
I would agree with that.
A tough chance at third.
Hot shot. So Billy Hall leading off for Houston. A triple and a walk tonight. Gallardo could use a clean inning. It has been a battle for him since the third. Multiple base runners in every inning. Astros put 3 on in the third, 3 on in the fourth, and Foreman on base in the fifth. It's amazing how the games can change, the ebb and flow. Because I thought Wednesday, even though it was a Brewers loss, that was a really good, cleanly played game. Well pitched, good defense, spectacular plays, timely hitting. Nice and tight.
Right.
This one is a mess.
Well, you have 2 of the top starting rotations in the National League so far this year, the Phillies and the Brewers, and the 2 top defensive teams. That makes for quick games.
As Gallardo strikes out Bill Hall. Just a reminder, this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Milwaukee Brewers. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent of the Milwaukee Brewers.
That's good fastball by Yo up in the zone and got Billy Hall to swing through it.
Strikeout number 6 for Gallardo. And here is Humberto Quintero. Quintero singled in a run his last time up. That was a good piece of hitting by Quintero. He drove in a run with 2 outs and 2 strikes in the 4th inning. With the pitcher coming up.
Yeah,
that's what you want your 8-hitter to do.
Well, Gallardo threw him 3 consecutive curveballs, and the 3rd one, Quintero put a good swing on it and grounded it up the middle.
Hit hard, and it's under the glove of Weeks. Kotze will make the play. Weeks kind of stopped on it, and it shot right by him. That looked like a play Ricky could have, should have made, maybe. A hot shot from Quintero.
Yeah. Humberto Quintero having a good night at the plate.
On base all 3 times. He was hit by a pitch. Now 2 hits. There was some question whether he'd be able to continue in this game after Gallardo drilled him in the elbow in the 3rd. Now it's Matt Downs, young infielder. Came into the game on a double switch. Now playing 3rd base. The Astros are still without their shortstop, Clint Barmas. Barmas was kind of a utility man, second baseman with the Rockies, but came up as a shortstop before Troy Tulowitzki emerged. And he's a good shortstop. Yeah. Most people don't remember him that way because Tulowitzki's been such a star and has grabbed most of the headlines at the shortstop position with the Rockies. But Barmas decided to head to the National League Central, and
they got Barmas and Jeff Keppinger both on the disabled list. Keppinger, a slick fielder himself.
And Keppinger playing second base, a little shortstop, can play all around the infield. Barmas is out with a hand injury, and he is resuming baseball activities, and he's supposed to play in a minor league game, I believe, Monday. So you figure the Astros will get better defensively when Barmas returns. Keppinger's been out with a foot injury, and he's playing in games as well, not in the field. He's been DHing down there in a minor league rehab. He'll probably be back in May as well. It's a long season. Everybody has injuries to deal with. And the Brewers are no different. They've lost an all-star right fielder and a front of the line starter in Corey Hart and Zach Greinke. Into right. Routine for Katze. Second out of the inning. Well, by now you've heard the Brewers signed Ryan Braun to a long-term deal. So log on to FoxSportsWisconsin.com and watch video of Braun giving his thoughts on the extension, plus read Paul Imig's story on who made the first move in starting the contract extension discussions. Check it out now at FoxSportsWisconsin.com. Top of the order here is Bourne, who's been a tough out for Giovanni tonight. Two hits, 2 for 3 is Bourne. Drove in a run in the third, doubled and scored in the fifth.
Probably going to take a triple to score Quintero. He doesn't run well at all. Got him pretty much straight away and very shallow in the outfield.
That skips by Lucroy. And Quintero ends up at second base.
And another breaking ball, and this one Jonathan a little bit late getting down and didn't get the glove on the ground, went right through the legs.
Officially a wild pitch, but Lucroy typically blocks those. Catchers get upset when one sneaks through the 5-hole.
That was a changeup.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And Gallardo strikes out Michael Bourne. So Giovanni picks up his 7th strikeout. Most likely that'll be his final hitter. But he got through 6. He battled his way through. 7-4 Brew Crew. Is presented by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. By Airtran, go, there's nothing stopping you. And by the Miller Lite Vortex bottle. Taste greatness. Under the roof of Miller Park on a raw, rainy night in Milwaukee. Sausage races. Always a fan favorite here in Milwaukee. In the middle of the 6th. A little sluggish today, it appears. It's been a long road trip. Clement's famous racing sausages.
He wants to run on a day like today, right? Good day to just hang around and watch the tube.
Well, Gallardo will hit here. He's unlikely going back out to pitch. But Ron Renicky knows he can swing the bat, so he gives him a chance and saves some of his bench.
And Brewers a little bit short-handed on the bench. 4 available. A left-hander, 2 right-handers, and a switch hitter.
Well, let's take you back. Gallardo batting in the 4th inning with 2 outs, nobody on. Unloaded. Jimmy John's delivery of the game. His first homer of the year. 9th career home run, which is a franchise record by a long shot. He's done a lot of damage in just a small amount of time here for Gallardo. The previous record was Brooks Kieschnick for career home runs. 4 as a pitcher. Gallardo now with 9. Certainly gives Ron Renicky some flexibility. And this is the perfect spot, symbolic of what he can do with Gallardo at the plate. Saves his bench. He's got a lead. Might as well. Gallardo takes a big cut.
Yeah, went right after him, and Yo had a nice swing. This is the swing of a position player right here. He knows what he's doing. Just got it by him.
Full count to Gallardo. And down he goes. Throw him a breaking ball, and Gallardo strikes out looking.
Yo thought that was high. He said, that's when I was pitching. When I was out there, the zone has been tight all night. 2 Astros coaches got thrown out because of it. There's the 3-1 pitch. Yo ready. You can see the leg kick, and he is ready to attack a fastball. That 3-2 pitch, a breaking ball, slider from Valdez. How about that for respect?
Got the tongue out like Michael Jordan up there. So back to the top now. It's Ricky Weeks on twice via the walk. Ricky Weeks on our Powerball home run leaderboard has 4. Braun is the club leader with 6. Braun hit a 3-run homer in the 3rd inning. Weeks just quietly going about his business. One of the Brewers core that has signed a long-term deal. Ricky signing a 5-year contract. Ryan Braun referenced the extended contracts of Weeks and Corey Hart, as Weeks is drilled by a pitch.
That was a breaking ball. It wasn't any intent there. If you're going to hit somebody, you're going to give them the hard one and make it hurt. But that was 83 miles an hour slider. Got Ricky right on the tricep.
Well, Weeks came in with an on-base percentage of .333. Has been on 3 times tonight. And now Gomez will bat. Gomez has looked good at the plate. He singled to right in the 1st. He bunted for a single in the 3rd inning. And then he lined out to right field in the 4th. This is the kind of Gomez that we saw as Weeks is just back. This is what we saw in spring training. This is what was so encouraging about Carlos Gomez offensively.
Yep, shooting the ball all over the field, line to line. Getting on top of pitches and driving them into right field. As the season started, he somewhat got away from that a bit.
Weeks takes off. Throw to second. Weeks is in there. Got a hand in there. His first stolen base of the year. Quintero thought he had an out at second base.
Yeah, so did I. That was a pretty good throw. Yeah, we were talking how well Quintero can throw the baseball. This throw, a bullet right to second base. But it does, on the second look at it, does look like Ricky able to get the hand in there. Quintero thought he had him.
To the wrong side of the bag.
As good as his arm is, he's only thrown out 2 of 16 so far this year.
They got to pin that on his pitchers.
Right.
So now Weeks in scoring position. The Brewers trying to add to it. 2 balls, no strikes on Gomez. Weeks has been a little hesitant to run this year. So it's good to see him with his first stolen base.
The second time that he's attempted, he got thrown out. His only other attempt.
Gomez walks. If Gomez does this nightly, it changes everything in this lineup. Sets up Ryan Braun with 2 on. Braun hammered one back in the 3rd inning. He hit a line drive rope out of here. Only question was it going to be high enough to get over the fence? And a curtain call. He has gotten 2 standing ovations tonight, the day after his long-term contract, and he is climbing the ladder. 134 homers. And you figure if he has a Braun type year, he stays healthy, he'll join some illustrious names on this list. 2 on, 1 out. Braun might have just set a record for standing ovations in a night. He has 4 now. A standing O every time he's been introduced at the plate, and got a curtain call after his 3-run homer. He's been on base in every single game this year. Via hit or a walk. 19 in a row for Braun. And has extended his hitting streak to 7 games. A heavy hitting streak. He's hitting well over 400 during the 7-gamer. That's how good he's going.
Yeah.
when Braun swings the bat well, he thinks he can hit everything, and he's talked about that as being a problem in the past.
That's a weakness at times, and it is, because that pitch right there that he swung at hit pretty well. It was about 4 inches off the outside corner. You take that pitch, which he's been doing routinely as well. With that big long bat, he covers both sides of the plate very well, gets on top of it. He hit it hard, although he did break his bat.
So now he's down 0-2. 7-4 Milwaukee, just 1 out. Braun had a pitch to hit, fouls it away. I asked Braun earlier today on our Brewers Live pregame show now that the financial terms are in place for the next decade, where's the motivation? And boy, he was quick with an answer. His motivation hasn't changed.
Pride. He loves to play.
He wants to win. He wants to be the best player in the game.
And self-motivated.
Little flare, right field. That's going to fall. A base hit. And Weeks will be held, but Gomez never stopped. And now Gomez in a rundown. And he'll be tagged out. Boy, Gomez had his head down. Ed Cedar held up Ricky Weeks, rightly so. Gomez runs right into an out.
The second base running mistake that Gomez has made tonight. He's just so anxious to run that he has to be aware of the base runners in front of him and what they're doing. It's one thing to be fast. It doesn't make you a good base runner. Right there, he just has his head down thinking a Prince is going to score, and he just keeps going. I mean, he's almost at third base. Or I should say, Ricky thinks Ricky's going to score. But Hunter Pence has a terrific throwing arm, and Eddie Cedar did the right thing by holding him up.
Well, there's no way you would take that chance with just one out and fielder coming up. You're looking at bases loaded and one of the best sluggers in the game. Gomez just runs into an out. And that allows the Astros to walk Prince Fielder here. That's a smart move. Giving Casey McGee an opportunity to drive in some runs. Gomez has been eliminated on the base paths twice tonight. Look out. Never works when you try to lob him in. You almost threw one back to the screen.
Yeah, you walk Prince and you bring up a pretty good run producer in his own right, Casey McGee, who's been seeing the baseball pretty well.
Well, this is one of the main reasons McGee led the team in RBIs last year. Not only did he bat with a lot of base runners on, but he delivered in spots like this. And this year he has been especially good with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. Has 8 hits this year in 15 at bats. That's a .533 batting average with 2 outs and runners in scoring position.
And his money in these situations is right field, right center.
McGee can break it wide open here in the 6th inning. Not just this year, but over his career. Excellent numbers. Ooh, out in front of a breaking ball. Weeks over at third. He was hit by a pitch. Braun advancing to second base on a base hit, and Fielder with a single to right. Or rather intentionally walked. McGee pulls it down the line. Fair ball. Weeks will score. Here comes Braun to score. Fielder stops at third. 2 RBI double for Casey McGee. He delivers again. And it is 9-4 Milwaukee.
Hey, he's something else, isn't he, Casey McGee? Go ahead, walk Prince. Brewers are fine with that. It was a breaking ball that seemed to be what Valdez wanted to go after McGee with. The only fastball that he threw to him was a pitch off the zone, but another slider on a 1-2 count. He hung it. Tried to overthrow it, and Casey able to rip it down the left field line. There you go. 9-4 Brewers.
McGee now 9 for 16 with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position. That is a .563 batting average. That is getting it done in a big way. McGee now has 12 RBIs, his 3rd hit of the night, 3 hits and a walk. You could kind of feel McGee coming out of it in that series in Philadelphia. Back up the middle, base hit for Kotze. Fielder in to score. McGee right behind him. 2 RBIs for Mark Kotze, and it is 11-4 Brewers.
All right, how big are those 2 hits? Back-to-back hits with 2 outs to score 4 runs. That fastball, middle in, down. Lefties like it down there, and he shoots it into center field for 2 more runs. Okay, these guys can hit, and they're starting to feel a little bit. They weren't swinging the bats all that well. I should better say not scoring a lot of runs on the last road trip. Well, they're starting to feel pretty good up at the plate.
Another pitching change for the Astros. We'll take a timeout. 11-4 Milwaukee. To 4 is our score, and a pitching change. Our Ho-Chunk Gaming Wisconsin text question tonight. Crystal and East Troy, with the National League Central being so close, how many wins do you think will be needed to win the division? I'll stick to my original prediction, which I'm never right, ever, not once in my career. Did I ever pick the winning number? But I'm going to say it's going to take 92 wins. I'm
going to say 90 to 92.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to take 100 or big win totals. I mean, based on how the early returns are showing. I mean, the first place team is 10-9. As you see Fulcino's numbers, this bullpen has been worked a lot already. His 11th game, we saw Abad had been in 11 games. 90, I'll say 91.
You can't go with 92?
I can't. I'm going to go under. You can't go over, right?
Right. See Roger Kaplinger checking out Ricky Weeks and that finger. Maybe injured on the stolen base attempt. That's the danger of going in head first. We'll see if Weeks is going to be able to continue here.
Takes a lot to get him out of a game.
There are 2 outs as Betancourt bounces one to third, Downs to second, and the inning is over. So we'll keep an eye on Weeks. The Brewers get 4 and they lead 11-4.
Jonathan Lou Corey would reach on a fielder's choice, and he will get an RBI to put the crew on the board first. And then in the third is Ryan Braun with a 3-run homer to put the Brewers up 4-2, and they would never look back. In the fourth, Giovanni Gallardo with a solo home run. Then it's a 2-run error by Matt Downs to give the crew a 7-4 run. And in the sixth, they would break it open. Casey McGee with a 2 RBI double to make it 9-4, and Mark Kotsay will follow up with his second hit of the game. That's also a 2 RBI single, and it's now 11-4 here in the top of the 7th inning. BA?
All right, Telly, thanks. And Craig Counsell is in for Ricky Weeks. So we saw Weeks a moment ago having his hand checked out, his finger. And Counsell will take over. Sean Green is the new pitcher. Gallardo is out, a chance to win his second. 6 innings tonight from Giovanni. And now Sean Green takes over in an 11-4 ball game. Angel Sanchez will lead off. Sanchez, Pence, and Lee. The Brewers have scored in every inning but the first tonight. Coming off a 4-run 6th.
And you love those crooked numbers. A 3 spot and a 4 spot.
Saw some signs of the Brewers offense breaking out after a rough series in Washington. Brewers scored 6 runs and 11 hits in the first game in Philadelphia, but that took 12 innings. And then against Roy Halladay and the Phillies on Tuesday, 9 runs on 13 hits.
They put 7 runs on Roy Halladay. That very rarely happens.
The 11 runs, the most in a game this season for Milwaukee. It had been 9.
Actually, it was 6 runs on Halladay, not 7. Still pretty good. They had Cliff Lee beat until late.
I think Ron Renicky is excited to see what the Brewers can do at home. They have not been home much. Just 7 games of the first 18 they played, and another long trip coming up after this one. It's a rough schedule in the month of April for Milwaukee.
Right. April and early May, not very kind to the Brewers. Didn't the Brewers start last year with their first 2 road trips, not counting Cincinnati, that was right out of spring training, but I think they had either 2 or 3 3-city trips to start the season last year.
The first 3 last year, and it'll be 2 of the first 3 this year. And that's a bit of a challenge because it's early in the season, and a slow roller going to be a tough play for McGee, and no chance, and he throws it away. Sanchez will not advance. That'll be an infield hit. 6 games at home to enjoy. Astros will be here for 3. We're on Fox Sports Wisconsin throughout the week. Reds are coming in Monday. Our Miller Lite What's on Tap. Sean Markham tomorrow. Markham will match up with Brett Myers, who is the Astros ace. Well, he's tough to handle. Randy Wolf against Wandy Rodriguez on Sunday. 2 left-handers that are right out of the same cut. And then against the Reds, the Brewers are lined up with Narveson, Estrada, and Gallardo. So Marco Estrada will be back on the mound Tuesday. I mean, say what you want about Zach Greinke, and there's no doubt getting Greinke back will have a huge impact on this team. But how much better will he be than Marco Estrada has been? I mean, Estrada's been great.
Yeah, well, the reason that the Brewers' ERA is second best in the National League in the low 3s is because of the bottom of the rotation. Chris Narveson and Marco Estrada.
Little Tapper coming in as Counsell. Only play as first. Pence retired. Sanchez advances to second. Arvidsson has an ERA of 2.19. Final numbers on Gallardo tonight: 6 innings, 8 hits, 4 runs, all earned. Kept his walks down, but a lot of hits given up. 7 Ks for Giovanni. On a night when he didn't really have his A+ stuff, he leaves with a chance to pick up a victory.
Kind of the same way that his last start began in Washington. I mean, his first 3 innings were lights out against the Nationals. The first 2 today had 4 strikeouts, did not allow a base runner. And then things changed for him dramatically when he started the 3rd inning.
Carlos Lee needs a new bat. Pitching has been the story, pitching and defense.
Hey, Freighter and the Medical College of Wisconsin are offering free prostate cancer screenings at Miller Park from 7 a.m. until 1 p.m. on May 26th. The first 500 men 40 and older who complete the screening that day will get a voucher for 2 free Brewers tickets to a future game.
It's a great program. Early detection.
Yeah.
No balls and a strike on Lee. Count goes to 0-2. Just to advance your thought on the pitching, the Brewers with a team earned run average coming in at 3.07. Only the Padres have a lower team ERA. Milwaukee's second in the National League. But the Brewers starters lead the National League in earned run average. And the Brewers have committed the fewest errors in the National League. Pitching and defense.
That will win you games in the long haul. I mean, offense comes and goes. Guys are going to get in slumps. They're going to be hot. You can't always outslug teams and win. But when you only give the opposition 3 outs an inning and you don't walk batters and you keep the ball in the ballpark, you have a good shot. And things on the pitching front are just looking better as we move along.
Lee into right, well hit, backing up is Kotze. That is over his head, off the wall. And this is going to bring a run home. Sanchez will score. Carlos Lee with an RBI double. 11-5 Brewers.
Carlos Lee doing a good job taking the ball to the opposite field. Look at this slider that didn't do a whole lot. It just spun up there. And Lee, a very good opposite field hitter. The Brewers have handled him pretty well with a bunch of pop-ups tonight. And he was able to center on that one and hit it off the wall and right.
Runs keep coming. Astros now have 10 hits. Bouncing ball, base hit. Wallace with a base knock that'll bring in another run. The 6th Astros run. It's 11-6 Milwaukee. Wallace has a 3-hit game and his 7th RBI of the season.
Not waiting around, going early in the count. Fastball up down the middle and able to get it out of the reach of Counsell up there up the middle. Back-to-back hits, back-to-back RBIs for the Astros. They're not done yet. Down by 5.
So Wallace aboard, and the Astros are going to send up a pinch hitter with a pitcher spot coming up. There's a familiar face, Joe England. Led the major leagues in pinch hits last year as a Brewer. 20 pinch hits a season ago. A night chock full of former Milwaukee Brewers.
Like a family reunion here with the Astros.
A lot of hugging going on behind the batting cage before the game today.
Hoping to send them home unhappy tonight.
And another former Brewer to follow, Billy Hall. sweeping breaking ball. And a ball and 2 strikes.
You see Joe England diving, just trying to say that ball is away, isn't it? Boy, it was close.
Saying stop breaking, stop breaking. Down he goes.
Yeah, Joe just didn't look very comfortable against Sean Green in that at bat. And Green able to get a fastball under his bat that time. Good pitch right on the outside corner.
So 2 men out. Key hitter here for Green. Brewers have a 5-run lead. Comfortable lead at this point, but Hall could tighten things up. Certainly has the power to do it. Astros had their pitching coach Brad Arnsberg and their manager Brad Mills ejected in the 2nd inning. Mills went first. Or rather, Arnsberg went first, and then Mills was tossed by Joe West.
But there wasn't a whole lot of time in between ejections. 30 seconds.
Time of ejection. It's got to disrupt things on the bench a little bit with a manager and a pitching coach not calling the shots.
Well, they've given up 11 runs. That'll tell you all you need to know.
Blaming the ejected coaches for that, are you?
Right.
Coaches take a lot of the blame. Rarely get the credit.
Right.
That's the way it's supposed to go.
And every coach knows it. How many people are going to go out there and say, boy, Dale Swain did a heck of a job tonight?
Beautiful job. 11 hits. Some of the best hitting coaching I've seen all year. But if they get shut out on a 2-hitter.
Telly interviews him every night.
Talk about it, Dale.
What happened?
What was the problem? Big bounce out to Betancourt. Easy out at second. Inning over. Astros get 2. Milwaukee 11. Houston 6. We go to the bottom of the 7th.
Inning, 11 runs, 11 hits. The offense breaks out. Jerry and I getting set for Brewers Live postgame. 4 different Brewers with at least 2 RBIs in this game, Jerry.
Well, it's actually started in Philadelphia against that good pitching staff. Started having better at-bats, good approaches, and what they're doing, they're working the count, and when they get it in their favor, they're getting good pitches to hit, and they're hitting a big reason why they're swinging the bat well.
And the Brewers knocking on the door in the 5th, finally came through. A couple of errors certainly helped there. 4 more in the 6th inning, but hey, it's 11-6 right now. Brewers out in front going to the bottom of the 7th inning. Jerry and I standing by. Full reaction to this game for Brewers Live postgame, plus our on-field instructional. Only appropriate that a former pitcher will be fielding the comebackers, all that good stuff. Stick around, guys.
Oh boy. Hope he brought his protective cup. That can be embarrassing on the old instructional. Hands aren't quite where they used to be, Augie. Inario Del Rosario is the new Astros pitcher. Lucroy pulls one foul. We're going to get our first look at Brandon Boggs as a big leaguer this year. Saw a lot of Brandon this spring. He had a great spring. He is on deck to hit. Saw Joe Inglet at second. A double switch made with Del Rosario in the game. B. Boggs. And LaTroy Hawkins is up in the bullpen, so a couple of guys just arriving with the Brewers here, back in uniform and on the active roster. And that is a big piece to the puzzle right there.
Yeah, well, he was slated to be the setup man for John Axford going into spring training. Things didn't work out that way. Cameron Lowe, I should say, has been doing a good job in that assignment. It's a good opportunity. I mean, you get a 5-run lead in the 8th inning and bring in Hawkins, a good chance for him to get his feet wet this year in a non-pressure situation.
Two big pieces to the puzzle in the bullpen. LaTroy Hawkins and Takashi Saito. Saito is on the DL as well. He's out with a hamstring injury. He's due back perhaps as early as the Red Series, maybe by the next road trip.
Yeah, he says he's feeling pretty good.
So you get Saito and Hawkins in place. You get Corey Hart back, and of course Zach Greinke, and now the Brewers feel like they're ready to go.
Problem is, who do you send out? I mean, that bullpen's been pretty good.
Little flare. It'll be a tough play, and that is a foul ball. Right off the glove of Joe Inglet. That was one of the problems for Joe Inglet last year. One of the reasons the Brewers didn't re-sign him. His natural position is second base, and when you have Ricky Weeks and of course Craig Counsell re-signed, Ricky doesn't miss much time. He's out tonight with a hand injury apparently, but tough for Joe to find playing time, and he ended up spending most of his time in the outfield last year.
Yeah, plus he was hurt a lot, and when he was needed, he wasn't available.
Lucroy gets sawed off into left field. That is going to fall, a base hit. And Jonathan Lucroy has his first hit of the night. A single to start the 7th.
Hey, Jonathan off to a good start after missing all of spring training in the first 2 weeks of the season. Pretty much the same boat that Corey Hart is in right now. Lucroy needed about 20-25 plate appearances. Felt good, and that was all that the Brewers needed to bring him back. Good news on the Corey Hart front. They're expecting Corey maybe Tuesday or Wednesday.
Out with an oblique injury. Here's Brandon Boggs now. At the end of spring training, Ron Renicky said the toughest call he had to make was sending Brandon Boggs back to the minor leagues. But this is a great example of how things can change in a hurry.
Had a couple of home runs and 12 RBIs down in Nashville. When you only have 4 players on your bench, it's always a nice luxury to have one of them a switch hitter. Brewers do not want to be with only 4 players on their bench for very long, and that will probably come to an end when Corey Hart is activated.
Mostly because Hart will play every day, and then you can start to build your bench. Boggs looked like a lock right up until the last couple of days, but then the Brewers had an opportunity to acquire Nyjer Morgan in a trade with Washington. And when they did that, which was right at the end of spring training, that bumped Boggs from the big league roster. But he went down to AAA, swung the bat well, and he earned a promotion. Milwaukee had to put him on the 40-man roster. He was taken off at the end of spring training. As Boggs takes a fastball strike and one away here in the 7th.
Rosario, some pretty good move, and that pitch started off the inside corner and came back and ended up catching plenty of home plate. A good comeback sinker.
Craig Counsell now, top of the order. His first plate appearance. Still efforting an injury report on Ricky Weeks. When it becomes available, we'll pass it along. An apparent hand injury left the game. Counsell entered last inning. It's been a slow start for Craig Counsell, just 1 for 14 on the season. There's a base hit. Counsell with a single to right center. Well, maybe that'll get him going a little bit. First and second for the Brewers here in the 7th inning.
And that fastball right down the middle, and Counsell able to get on top of it and line it into the gap out there in right center. It's short stroke. Down and through, and base hit number 2 for Kreger.
Could be there. Future Mrs. Ferry. That's going to be a solid marriage. If you're already hanging out at the ballpark. Gomez, deep left field, way back, and it's gone. Carlos Gomez. A 3-run home run.
Almost past Craig Counsell getting to home plate. Carlos, you got to enjoy those things a little bit. Slow down around the bases.
He's had a great night at the plate. That is his 3rd hit. 2nd home run.
That would have been a fitting end to Carlos's night on the bases if he passed Counsell. A bullet. All 3 home runs have ended up in that Brewers bullpen, and none of them have taken very long to get out.
$14-6 Milwaukee. That's Gomez's first 3-hit game. This is what Bill's talking about. Look at Gomez. So it goes out, and he's flying.
Yeah.
Almost missed first base.
Right. Fell down. Almost fell down a couple of times.
Almost past Counsell.
And here comes Counsell. Watch.
Oh, boy. He's something.
He actually sped up once the ball hit the bullpen.
What was the guy's name? He used to play for the Reds. Had that. I think he's with the Diamondbacks now. Remember, he just flew. Rosales?
Adam Rosales?
Yeah, he flew around the bases as Braun comes up with another hit. So Ryan Braun has 3 hits in this game. Feeling the pressure of living up to the big contract.
Never an issue for Ryan Braun. He enjoys the spotlight, and it seems to bring out the best in him. A pure hitter, Ryan Braun. Fastball, outer half. Hits a bullet, almost undresses Wallace at first base. 15 hits for the Brewers.
Oh boy, she's going to be getting some phone calls. You think deep down, Rock, deep down, you think there's a hint that Ryan would look up there and see that phone number and go, hey, I'm going to write that down.
I think he realizes it's just for the money. He's a smart guy.
At the plate, presented by Wendy's. Fielder tonight. No hits, but on base 3 times. Oh, man, I'm sorry, ma'am. You bring a sign, you're getting on TV, and your phone is going to blow up. Yep. Just get ready.
We're on to you.
And we take no responsibility for the messages and the phone calls you're about to receive. All we do is report. That's what we do.
We analyze what we see, right?
Now that's a better way to go about it. Most popular girl in Milwaukee right now. Fielder bounces one to England. Out there. Fielder beats it out. Doesn't matter what the score is. Prince is always running hard. Two outs in an inning.
He prides himself on the fact that he is going to run every time. It doesn't matter what the situation is. And every player on this team does the same. That was so crazy about that game in Philly. You know, a couple of instances in the same inning with Ricky and Braun where they weren't running, and that is unusual to say the least with this club. Every one of them.
How's your scorebook looking tonight?
Great. I don't mind if the Brewers part of the page is a mess. A lot of activity.
14 runs on 15 hits.
Brewers went down in the first inning. They got a base hit, but only had 3 batters up the rest of the night. There's been a lot of red ink in my scorecard, and that means a lot of at-bats with men in scoring position.
Casey McGee had a big hit back in the 6th inning. They walked Fielder to load the bases. McGee promptly drove in a pair, hit that to short on a line, long throw, and McGee is out. Boy, tough luck for McGee. Oh my God, everybody's calling my phone. I know. Sorry. I'm gonna have to get a new phone. outside currently, but we have a roof.
There you go, partner.
Nice.
The Manderson.
Oh, I see. All right.
You are the Manderson.
My fan club.
I think that's going to stick, by the way.
Only one in the ballpark. Glad they didn't put my phone number up there.
Do you know them?
I do not.
You do know them.
I do not know them. What are you saying? You'd think I'd left him tickets and had him bring a sign.
I think you helped with the sign, too. We had an off day yesterday.
LaTroy Hawkins is in the pitch.
Well, talking to LaTroy Hawkins today, he said that he has not felt this good for a long, long time. All last year, early part of the year this year throughout spring training, and he said it's about time, and it's been a while. So he is ready.
He said he called himself up. He showed up in Philadelphia, and he knew he wasn't going to pitch for a few days. Kind of had it pegged that this was the day he was going to return, but he showed up to Philadelphia anyway.
Called himself up.
He called himself up.
Just got on a plane, paid for it.
Said, I am on my way to Philadelphia.
That's good.
Make the necessary arrangements. He actually sent out a tweet. You know the Twitter? You familiar with the Twitter?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he sent out a tweet that was the breaking news. He was the one who actually gave us the news that he was coming up.
Nice to be in that position where you can actually call yourself up. And you don't get sent back.
And I tried to get myself called up for years. Couldn't get through the door. Well, the thing to watch with Hawkins is his velocity, and that's why he was down in the minor leagues. Even though he said his shoulder felt fine, shoulder surgery last season, it was the fact that he wasn't pitching in the mid-90s, which is what he needs to be effective in the big leagues. So until his velocity came back, the Brewers were leaving Hawkins down there just to build some arm strength.
Yep, 93 with that last fastball. That's more like it. Well, LaTroy must have liked the way they wear their pants down in the minor leagues. He's brought it here to Miller Park.
Paying homage to his minor league brethren. That's a rule in the minor league system with the Brewers. Pant legs up to the knees. Got an update from the clubhouse. Ricky Weeks left this game with a left pinky finger sprain, which is good news. Just a sprain, no break. Anytime Weeks leaves a game, it leaves you concerned. He rarely comes out.
Yeah, it takes a lot.
And usually it's something bad. So maybe a day or two, we'll see. See how he comes back tomorrow. You don't have your phone number written down anywhere, do you, for public consumption?
I don't think so.
No, you're smarter than that.
You?
Oh no. I was just thinking about our friend last inning who has her phone number written on her sign. There she is.
Does it begin with 555? You know, all television telephone numbers start with 555.
No, she went with the real deal. She's paying the price. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Fouled away. I mean, you know, you're a father of daughters and they have cell phones, and you will say, now don't be giving your phone number out to just anybody.
Right. Got to be careful.
I believe I saw Telly Hughes up there.
Yeah, BA, this is the sign that got Miss Robin here in trouble. You want to know how many calls she's received?
How many?
over 200. She had to change her phone to airplane mode because she's received over 600 text messages. So are you kind of rethinking this whole idea now?
Yeah, a little bit. I thought it was a good idea at the time. It was this morning. I was like, oh, it'd be cool to have my phone number on a side. And now I'm kind of like, oh, this wasn't such a good idea. So.
So you're about to turn the phone off, you told me. And when do you think you may turn it back on?
Probably Tuesday when I go back to school. I'm making turn it on before then.
Well, I guess next time you'll rethink things before you come to the old ballpark. Brian, they also want to congratulate you for helping this whole cause out, too.
Oh, my gosh. It's still out there for everyone to see. I didn't do anything.
That is true.
I just commented that she's in trouble. We have a very interactive audience, Robin.
200 calls?
600 text messages.
Wow.
That's nice to know you're out there. She really only had one guy that she wanted that phone number. That was Ryan Braun.
Write it down and hand it to Ryan after the game.
Never know. He might just call. He might be one of those messages. Since he's got nothing else going on. In the air to shallow center. Counsell is back. Gomez will call him off. All right, so you've made yourself heard with Robin over here. How about our text messages? Let's hear from you. 234-234. Keyword Brewers. Include your name and your city. So we're taking your questions. Leave Robin alone and send us your text questions. Those text questions have a life of their own as well. We don't ever really get the bulk of it up here.
Well, we saw them when we were doing the webcast in spring training.
Yes. That's when we feel it to some extent. Michael Bourne with one away. There's a good fastball. That's the kind of velocity the Brewers have been looking for from Hawkins. 95 miles an hour from LaTroy. I know he is anxious to get going here. He loves the makeup of the team. Bouncing ball. Diving stop. Counsell. And nowhere to go with it. No chance with Bourne's speed, but Counsell keeps it in the infield. How about the effort in a 14-6 game?
Yeah. Prince went after it. Counsell able to get to it, and LaTroy Hawkins was ready for the throw, but no sense in making that throw because Michael Bourne runs just too fast. Counsell angling back, able to get there. He hasn't had too many opportunities defensively. Full out dive and realizes, you know what, why bother? Our Home Depot doing more on defense. Even the plays that the Brewers aren't able to make are pretty good ones. They continue to play very well defensively this year.
So 1 out, 2 on. Angel Sanchez, the batter. Saw where the Cardinals and the Reds are just getting started. They had a lot of rain in St. Louis tonight. And tornadoes and severe weather. Kotze makes the catch. Quintero will tag and make it to third. 2 men are out. Coming up after the game tonight, our Brewers Live post-game show, which will include our post-game instructional.
Look at Augie.
Hey, there's Rock.
Wow.
Actually got a hit. Davey. Oh, boy. You almost hit Davey in the face.
You keep that up, I'm going to give out your phone number.
What is our topic going to be tonight, Rock?
Pitchers fielding their position.
PFP?
PFP.
And what will your role be tonight?
I'm going to be rolling baseballs through Jerry Augustine.
Oh, no, you got to get a fungo.
You think?
Definitely get a fungo.
They should make him work a bit.
You have a wiffle ball, you could get a fungo and a wiffle ball and just hit a rocket at him.
No.
That would be awesome.
Would you really want me to do that to Jerry?
That would be funny. He's in a suit. I'm just trying to spice it up a little. Aside from the excellent knowledge you'll gain in our instructional tonight.
I'll tell you one thing about Jerry Augustine. He's about he's amongst the best teachers of baseball I've ever seen.
Good coach.
I mean, he is. He can speak to kids at all ages. You know, young kids in little league and college kids that even big leaguers. I mean, he speaks to a wide variety of ages. That's hard to do.
There's a base hit, and a run will score for the Astros. RBI single by Pence. 14-7. And you wonder how many pitches they'll give Hawkins. He's at 22 right now.
And Zach Braddock is getting loose in the Brewers' pen. Job by Pence taking a high curveball into right field for an RBI.
There's Braddock. Rick Kranitz to the mound for Hawkins. Those two go back a ways, back to their Cub days together, Kranitz and Hawkins. Kranitz spent a lot of years with the Cubs in their minor league system as a pitching coach and a coordinator, and ultimately in the big leagues as a pitching coach. Carlos Lee, 2 on, 2 out.
Yeah, 3-run home run by Carlos Gomez, all of a sudden looming fairly large, huh? And without that, we're talking about a 4-run game with Carlos Lee at the plate.
Slow roller, Hawkins with time. Bombs it over there. Fielder makes a nice play cutting across the bag. And the side is retired. So Hawkins has number 1 in the books. That's exactly what we're talking about in the instructional tonight. Pitchers fielding practice.
out of saying to kind of change the culture and get back to having the perception of being a winning organization. You know, when guys like Robin Yount played here, and Gorman Thomas, Paul Molitor, Jim Gantner, when all those guys were here, it was a special place to play. And I think the group of guys we have here today, not only the players but the coaches, the personnel, I think everybody here is a part of us headed back in the right direction, of us getting back to being a winning organization, of being a team that other guys want to play for.
The comments of Ryan Braun yesterday after his long-term contract extension, and Braun delivered today. The day after, he comes up with 3 hits, had a 3-run home run, a big one in the 3rd inning that gave the Brewers the lead, a lead they have not relinquished at this point. And a curtain call tonight. 4 standing ovations for Ryan Braun tonight. 3 times when he was introduced at the plate, and then the standing ovation after the homer. Mark Melancon on to pitch for Houston. Marcotte batting. 14-7 Milwaukee. It has been a long one tonight. Plenty of offense. Another former Brewer is in. Jason Bourgeois in left field. Speaking of former Brewers, those comments by Braun, those are the comments that stood out the most for me. All the things he had to say yesterday, and he was spot on with everything. But the fact that he talked about Robin Yount and Paul Molitor and Gorman Thomas and Jim Gantner. I spoke to Jim Gantner and Gorman Thomas before the game tonight, and especially Jim Gantner as Katse delivers a base hit. You know, Gumby really appreciated that, and you don't hear that from a lot of the modern players. And we're talking about nearly 30 years ago, and Braun wanted to connect the early 80s and this current Brewers team, the winning, the success that they had back then, and he feels like he's responsible, and the rest of these young Brewers, this core of connecting those 2 eras.
The glory years of the Brewers.
I got a lot of respect for Braun for doing that, and
yeah.
I think it really resonates with not just the fans, but with these players that are around. And Ron Renick's had an open door policy with former Brewers players, and I think that is a great thing, and that's what more teams should do, because it's part of the fabric of baseball in Milwaukee.
Yeah. Well, the comments about, you know, the former Brewers, and the other thing that really struck me with respect to Brony's comments was his gratitude and acknowledging how good this coaching staff is. That includes Ron Renick and all the coaches that have been working so hard throughout spring training and continue throughout the season. Everybody seems to get along very well. There's a lot of hard work going on. There's accountability, but those guys are having a good time doing what they're doing. This is a good team that's just going to continue to get better as guys get healthy.
Betancourt, deep right center field, long run, and that's off the wall. Katse on his way to 3rd. Betancourt with a double. 2 hits today for Yuniesky Betancourt.
Well, I hit that one a ton to the opposite field. Wow. Hit that one about midway on that fence out in right center. Betancourt gives it a good ride. Fastball right down the middle, maybe a little bit out away from him, and he just lets it get in on him and just gives it a ride into right center. Got a little bit of air under it, but still able to get it off the wall. Missed a home run by maybe 2 feet.
Double number 5 of the season for Betancourt. And a 2-for-5 night. He drove in 2 big runs in the 5th inning. The Brewers have scored in every inning tonight with the exception of the 1st. They're still coming in. Matter of fact, if you look up at the line score, there have been only 4 half innings that have gone scoreless tonight. That's how much offense we've seen here. The Brewers have 14 runs, which is a season high, on 17 hits. As Lucroy sends one to Pence, And they will not challenge the arm of Hunter Pence.
And another rocket, and Jonathan Lucroy, big hang with him that time, right at Pence and right. Got a good arm and pretty accurate. Astros outfield has racked up the outfield assists so far this year. I think they got 6. That's second in the league. Look at this throw by Pence. Yep.
Just the threat of that arm. So 1 out, and it's Brandon Boggs. Boggs struck out in the 7th inning. His first Brewers appearance here tonight. Called up yesterday. And he lines one out to second. England makes a catch. Well, tough luck for Boggs. 2 outs. Well, our Menards player of the game. Who else? Ryan Braun. 3 hits, a key home run, a 3-run shot, his 6th homer of the year. Extended his on-base streak to 19 games. He's been on base in every game so far this year. And the batting average continues to rise. Typical Braun fashion. Signs a big contract, steps up in a big spot. Rock and I have the owner of the team on the air with us, and he hits a home run. A 3-run homer.
And nothing really bothers him. I think he enjoys that kind of spotlight. He does. A big stage player, Ryan Braun. Pretty good chance of starting his 3rd consecutive All-Star game. He keeps this up.
Yeah. A Craig Counsell fan. Hoping for a payoff. Counsell already has a hit tonight. Filling in for the injured Ricky Weeks. He sprained his pinky finger on his left hand. Did Weeks. Counsell singled and scored last inning. Best night offensively for Milwaukee all season. 14 hits, 14 runs, 17 hits. It had been 9 and 13 previously.
A lot going on up on that board, but look at the 0 in the E column once again for Milwaukee.
Cardinals are up on the Reds 3-0, 4th inning. After some severe weather moved through St. Louis. They've got closer problems in St. Louis as Counsell draws the walk. Ryan Franklin taken out of that role.
Melanson walking off the mound, thought he struck out Counsell. Let's see, where does this pitch miss? Oh boy, oh boy.
Well, it was that tight strike zone that resulted in an ejection of Astros pitching coach Brad Arnsberg in the 2nd inning. Brad Mills shortly thereafter. Nice play back there by Quintero. He's had a long night behind the plate.
Yes, he has. So is home plate umpire Paul Schreiber. How many pitches has he seen tonight?
Brad Arnsberg would say self-inflicted.
I would say not many.
Brad Arnsberg says, don't put me on that. Sorry, Brad. I mean, it was just right there for you. You had to say that. That was good.
Well, I did it in honor of Bruce Fleming.
Right.
I know he was at the ballpark earlier today.
No chance he's still here.
No.
He's been in bed an hour or two. Bases loaded, 3-0 count. Gomez hit a 3-run homer in the 7th. Takes a strike. That expression says it all. Al Pedrique acting as the Astros manager. And that's a strike. So Gomez in a 3-2 count now. Runners go. Gomez strikes out, fires the bat, and we head to the 9th. Last call for Houston. Been a fun night at the ballpark tonight for the Brew Crew. They have pounded out 14 runs on 17 hits. On a night when this game would have been questionable to be played without that roof. Marco Estrada on the mound to pitch. He is in a tune-up before his start against the Cincinnati Reds. So Estrada comes in to work this 9th inning. He's scheduled to pitch on Tuesday. He's done a nice job this year, Estrada.
Yes, he has. His last start was very good against the Nationals. Good changeup as Eric Almonte takes over for Prince at first.
14-7 as we move to the 9th. The Brewers looking to improve to 10-9. The two 10-9 teams in the division, the Reds and the Cardinals, are finally underway. They're in the 4th. 6-game homestand. The Brewers are hoping to keep it going here in their home ballpark. A 5-2 homestand first time around against the Braves and the Cubs. The Brewers will see the Cardinals on the next road trip. The first matchup with St. Louis. Albert Pujols is hot again.
Yes, he is.
Has 6 home runs after a very slow start. The next road trip, the Brewers will go to Houston for 3, Atlanta for 4, and then St. Louis for 3. Estrada, the changeup specialist, trying to retire Brad Wallace. He's 3 for 4 tonight. Good looking young hitter. It was Wallace arriving in Houston that gave the Astros the opportunity to trade Lance Berkman last year.
Lost Roy Oswalt, Lance Berkman last year to bring some young players into the fold. A rebuilding situation for Houston.
Wallace strikes out.
Good job by Estrada. It's got to be tough duty for a guy that really didn't figure he was going to pitch tonight. You know, a starter. Took him a while to get dialed in. 3 pitches. He fell behind 3-0 and then able to sneak that fastball by Wallace outer half. I think folks don't realize about Estrada. He's got pretty good zip on his fastball. Got about 92, 93 in Washington.
He's opened some eyes for sure. He pitched well last year when he had his chance. Then he almost immediately started having some shoulder problems and ended up on the disabled list most of the year last year. He has been a bright star coming up from the minor leagues. There's a lot of talk about who is going to fill in for Zach Greinke in this month of April, and it has been Estrada. Done a very nice job.
He was down 4 on the depth chart, wasn't he? Wasn't even on the roster. A couple of guys that they had hoped would be able to pan out and weren't able to get the job done. They bring Estrada up in spring training, made 2 very good starts, and here he is.
That's just the way it goes sometimes. That's why, you know, you hear coaches try to keep up the intensity, keep the attitude positive. You just never know. You go out and do your job and have success, you'll have a chance. Almonte makes a play. Estrada's a perfect example. Here's a guy who wasn't even invited to spring training. I mean, he was so far off the radar that he was basically a roster-filling AAA pitcher at the beginning of spring training. Then he came up in a few spring games and pitched so well. Ron Renicky said, "This is the guy we got to take an extra look at here."
Yeah.
And here he is, and he'll get his chance against the Reds on Tuesday again.
Took advantage of his opportunity and hasn't looked back.
Big instructional coming up. PFP. Pitcher's Fundamental Practice. Rock and Augie. Just like old times, huh, Rock?
Yep, you betcha. We did a bunch last year. Remember when David was filling in for Uke?
Big bouncing ball. Counsell has it, and that is your ball game. The Brewers win the opener of this series. And now 6-2 here at home. Much more still to come on this game. Craig Kashawn, what do you have coming up for us on Brewers Live?
Well, you name it, we've got it on the post-game show. This is one of the heroes, Ryan Braun. Hope to hear from him. What an offensive output for the Brewers in this game, scoring 14 runs. We'll hear from Ron Redeke, get inside the clubhouse, and look ahead to Game 2 tomorrow.